How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
Who the fuck is Karlyn? She's just some sweet lady. She's like in a knitting. She does like a knitting stream. She's like a knitting YouTuber. She does knitting.
Can we grow up a little bit and not be
sent
retarded?
$200.
Please.
Have you seen the work of Karlyn Borysenko? Anti-commie cult leader and is obsessed with looking at what actual far-left communists are talking about and organizing today, infiltrating them. They infiltrated the universities, schools, media. She has the receipts to back it up. Primary source evidence. Infestation is dire and she calls Republicans idiots eating slop. Agree.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, oh, I know Karlyn B. She's solid. She's funny. I
The
like
great
her.
noticer sent $200.
Literally.
So
Not
it's,
Ian.
it's not because I haven't dangled my junk into the combat zone on purpose to get some camera footage, but that's the big part of what's the
Is that
problem.
what you call reporters?
Go
and live
under, if
streaming?
you're going to do it,
Yeah,
go
seriously.
undercover. Otherwise you're wearing a hunk of meat in a lion's den. Nick Shirley, I love you. Take care of yourself, man. Karlyn Borysenko went undercover. Do stuff like that. Like if you want to expose this thing, don't pariah, please.
But Ian, here's and I agree with you to an extent.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. What's going on? How are you guys? Guess what I just did? Guess what I just did? I just went to the gym. This is the second time I've gone to the gym in 3 days. And I walked 5K on the treadmill and I didn't do anything else because like we're easing back into the gym. We're easing back into the gym. I'm still a little traumatized from the gym because like if people don't know, like I used to run marathons and stuff like that. And I used to spend hours and hours a day in the gym. And I'm talking not even just once a day, sometimes twice a day. When I was really at the peak of my marathon training, I was going to the gym before work in the morning, and then I was going to do a full day of work, and then I was going to the gym again in the afternoon, and that was the way it was for a long time. And I did that for a long time, and then in the last marathon I ran, which was the Boston Marathon, no big deal. I hurt my leg pretty badly, and I still have issues with it today because basically what happened is I was undertrained for the last marathon for a lot of reasons, mostly because my leg was pretty messed up at this point. Because I believe in running through pain. I don't believe in like, if I don't believe in taking a break when you have pain. I believe in just like running through it. And so I basically trained for a marathon during the winter on a problem with my leg, and I couldn't quite figure out what it was. And I went to all these sports medicine doctors, and none of them could fucking figure it out. And anyway, I was like, listen, Karlyn, if you can run the Boston Marathon, you run the Boston Marathon. I don't give a fuck if you got a hurt leg. Like, I don't care. Like, it's the Boston Marathon. Every runner in the world wants to be in Boston on the Boston. And that was my second Boston Marathon, by the way. And that was pretty rad. And there was a purple jacket that year, which was the most important thing to me. The Boston Marathon colored jacket changes every single year. And I have an orange one for 2014 and I have a purple one for 2015. And the purple one's really the one that matters. That's my favorite color. Anyway, so I was like, Karlyn, I don't give a fuck if you're hurt. I don't give a fuck if you don't want to. You're going to run the Boston Marathon because you have an entry into the Boston Marathon, and literally every runner in the world wants to be running the Boston Marathon that day. And so you're going to get your ass out of bed. You're going to go run the fucking 26 miles, and you're going to shut the fuck up and just do it. You guys want to know how I can sit through so much socialism? Do you guys want to know? Like, it's one of those weird coincidences in life, isn't it? I truly believe that everyone needs to run at least one marathon before they die. Because the act of training for the marathon and then running the marathon and persevering through the marathon, like it teaches you something about yourself. It really does. And I've done it multiple times just because that was the type of thing I was into when I was younger. And anyway, so I kind of forced myself into running the Boston Marathon on an injury that I didn't know what it was, but I knew it wasn't good. And so I did it. I finished the race and it was, it was fine. And then I really hurt my leg, and that kind of fucked up the rest of my workout plans forevermore after that. So I have a chronic injury in my leg. It's actually kind of feeling okay right now, which is part of the thing. Anyway, so I've been on this weight loss thing, right? Because my whole thing is I started getting recognized when I was going undercover with the left. Back in December. And so basically immediately, I always had a plan for this. I always said the moment that the left starts recognizing me when I go undercover, I have to actually take the ultimate step, which is I have to become unrecognizably skinny so that I can go undercover again. And I always had this in the back of my head. I always knew it was going to come to this sooner or later. And so as soon as the left recognized me at an event that I was at in December, I was like, all right, well, you've put it off. You haven't wanted to do it. And now it's just time to fucking commit, and you need to lose weight, and you need to lose weight quickly. And you need to become unrecognizably skinny so that you can go undercover with the far left again. And this is like the only thing I have left. This is the only card I have left to play is losing weight. And listen, I've been harassed on the internet for years and years and years and years and years about my weight. Like, I give a fuck. How many marathons have the people who have been harassing me for years, Ethan Ralph? How many marathons have the people who've been harassing me for years ever run? Oh, probably 0. You know what? Go fuck yourself. And so anyway, I tell this long story because now I'm doing this weight loss thing, and I've already lost, no big deal, almost 50 pounds since the beginning of December. Ha. See, I always told people didn't believe me. They went every time they were making fun of me for my weight. I said, I was like, I can fucking lose weight anytime I want to. I just don't really feel like it right now. And people don't believe you when you say that. And then, oh wait, what happened? Boom, I decide to lose weight because I actually have a reason to lose weight that's not being harassed on the internet by losers who've never done shit with their lives endlessly. Now I actually have a reason. Now I actually have a cause that I'm working towards. The minute I decided to lose weight, I started losing weight like that. And so I'm down almost, I'm actually technically, if we're being technical about it, I'm down 46 pounds since the beginning of December. So what's that? December, January, February, March. We are halfway through March. I'm a little over halfway through. So yeah, no big deal. I've lost like 45 plus pounds in the last, 3.5 months. I'm hoping to get to, I definitely want to hit 50 by the end of the month. I think I can actually hit 50 this week. I think I'm feeling good. I'm like adding the gym onto it now. I think I'm going to hit 50 this week. And what I would really like is to be 60 pounds down by my birthday, which is April 12th. And so, and what I'm doing, and no, Karlyn's on Ozempic. No, she's not. I mean, and no shade on people who are. I actually don't particularly care if people take Ozempic or not. I'm willing to put my body through some stuff. Like I'm doing the keto crash starvation diet. I'm doing keto and intermittent fasting. And that's what got me most of like the weight loss so far is keto plus intermittent fasting. Basically, I'm eating a fuck ton of chicken. I am eating a fuck ton of chicken once a day. I'm having protein in my coffee. I'm having collagen in my coffee and like all the things. I'm having like supplements and all this bullshit. But basically, I don't eat carbs anymore. I eat basically no carbs and no sugar. And so I'm in like a constant state of like ketosis basically. And that's how I'm doing it. But like, for the amount of people that have said I'm on Ozempic, like I kind of feel like I should get on Ozempic. Like honestly, Ozempic or like whatever, it would have made all this shit a ton easier. Honestly, like having to get into the keto crash starvation diet for the first month and a half sucked. It sucked so bad. I was so tired. I was so cranky. I didn't want to do it. Now I've adapted to it. Anyway, I tell this story because now I've decided that it is time to face the trauma of the fucking gym and go back to the gym. This is a very long-winded way of saying I've lost a fuck ton of weight very quickly using just really strict dieting. Yeah, well, I have misgivings about Ozempic, not just because listen, I'm under no illusion that I'm probably fucking up my body with the keto crash starvation diet. I probably am. This is probably not the healthiest thing I could be doing if we're being honest about it. But I have misgivings about Ozempic because I just the amount of people that are getting like I don't want to be super fucking, I don't want to be a fucking skeleton. I'm not down with that. And so like that sort of thing, I have misgivings about it. But again, like I don't actually care if people do it or not. I just think like with the amount of people that have been accusing me of being on Ozempic, I'm like, well, maybe I just should have fucking done it. It would have made things a hell of a lot easier. But I didn't. And so now I am adding in going back to the gym on top of the keto crash starvation diet, and we're going to see how much weight I can lose very quickly. And yes, I'm very much enjoying giving the middle finger to every single person who ever harassed me and bullied me incessantly or made porn about me because of my weight and all that stuff. And yeah, fuck you assholes. And you know, you can eat what is left of my copious ass, and I don't give a fuck. And I always told you assholes I could lose weight, and you didn't believe me. And oh wait, look, here we are. Anyway, so I'm gonna be losing even more weight now because I'm going back to the gym. And they can cope all they fucking want about it. Hey Naruto, thanks for the super chat. Karlyn, did you enjoy having that Candace Owens song stuck in your head all weekend? I didn't have it stuck in my head all weekend, so I guess that's the answer to that. I did not. Nice attempt. I did not have it stuck in my head all weekend, though. Not have W's in the chat for Ninja Artist gifting a channel membership. Let's throw up that channel membership goal that now has one. We are one of 100 gifted channel memberships on our way to our 100 goal today. Guys, we are trying to bring in 100 new channel members today because today is a very, very, very important week. Today is the beginning of a very, 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 very important week. Guys, who is ready? Who is ready to infiltrate the No Kings protest? Who is ready to go on an adventure with me this weekend and infiltrate the No Kings protest? The No Kings protest, as everyone should know by now, is a very, very, very large protest that is going to be happening this weekend all over the country. It is organized by the progressive group Indivisible. And there are going to be protests and rallies all over the country, basically demanding we have no kings and blah, blah, blah. All your typical progressive talking points. Now, I'm not actually really all that interested in the progressive part of the protest. If I'm being honest about it, I am just not all that interested in the progressive part of the protest. We'll go, we'll listen to them, we'll see what's going on. What I am really interested in is what far left groups are going to be showing up at this protest all over the country to hand out their flyers and hand out their propaganda and be there basically to try to recruit and radicalize more people to the left. Because as I will continue to remind people, progressives and socialists are not the same thing. The No Kings protest is a progressive organized event. Every once in a while, you do find some DSA groups that might latch themselves onto it. But by and large, this is not a far left event. Okay? It's just not. The progressives believe in upholding capitalism. They believe in upholding the current system. The people organizing the No Kings protest are not trying to stage a revolution to overthrow the government. This is a political act for them that because they still support the Democratic Party tangentially. They'd like the Democratic Party to be more far left than they are, but tangentially they do still support the Democrats. These are Democrats and liberals and progressives. They all want to maintain the system, uphold the system, all that good stuff. And they're not trying to have a violent revolution, whereas Antifa, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, the Revolutionary Communists of America, the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, Socialist Alternative, etc., 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 the real far left, the real socialists, the real communists are trying to violently overthrow the government. There may be some differences of opinions on how to do that. Like, for example, the DSA, the Working Families Party, they're more democratic socialists. They do want a post-capitalist society, but they believe in having elections and making reforms through elections to achieve a post-capitalist society, whereas the far left, the revolutionaries, do not believe in elections. They do not believe in electing people to fix the problem. They think both parties are the problem. They want to violently overthrow the government. So the No Kings protest is not a far left protest at all in any way. But the far left will 100% be there. And we know they'll be there because we've already reviewed their plans on this stream. This is Crime Think. Crime Think is the publishing arm of Antifa. And was it last week? It must have been last week because they just published this 3/16. Last week, Crime Think published a call to action for Antifa all over the country to go to the No Kings protest and to hand out flyers and to hand out propaganda and to recruit people to events. We covered this entire document. We read the whole thing. You can go back and watch the stream about that. So don't tell me the far left isn't going to be at this protest. We know they're going to be at the protest because they are literally publishing their plans to be at the protest. Okay? And so the reason that we want to go and infiltrate the No Kings protest is because I want to know what far left groups are active all over the country. And if you happen to collect progressive stuff or Democrat stuff, that's fine too. We'll take it. We'll look at it. It's going to be informative. But what I'm trying to do is create a national network of volunteers who are going to No Kings events all over the country and taking pictures and collecting propaganda and reporting back to us what is going on in their local area, because the things that are going on in Seattle may not be the same things that are going on in Texas. They may not be the same things that are going on in Florida or Georgia or North Carolina or New York City. Like, there's going to be different far left groups that are active at different places in the country. They're going to be handing out different propaganda in different places of the country. And so I want to be there with an army of volunteers on the ground all over the country to be collecting the propaganda so that we can bring it back and analyze it. And what we're going to do with this is we are going to make a map of the far left groups that are active all over the country in relation to this big No Kings thing, because if we're honest about it, the No Kings protests have been phenomenally successful for the groups running them. They are the largest single day protests in American history, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I know the organizers are hoping for 9 million people to come out on Saturday. That is not an insignificant amount of people. And between all the ICE bullshit and all the airport bullshit, which, by the way, if you think the Democrats are getting blamed for the airport bullshit, you're fucking insane and consuming too much conservative media, and the war in Iran bullshit, and people still not liking Israel bullshit. I think it's a pretty perfect storm for a lot of people to come out on Saturday. And no big deal. I think we should all be there. And I think we should be seeing what's going on directly and reporting back and then helping everyone else to have a much fuller picture of how the left is organizing in America. Thanks for being a member of the channel for 4 months, Ninja Artist. I appreciate it. I'm halfway through your book, A Revolutionary Fairy Tale. We'll finish soon. Thank you, my dear. I really do appreciate that. Make sure you leave a positive review on Amazon when you're done. If you like it. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself. That's fine too. That's fine too. I will be making a map of where people are, but mostly, I would like to make sure we're protecting people's identities. So I am not recommending at this stage that you guys meet up with each other. So I don't recall off the top of my head if there's anyone in Dallas so far. But again, like I do want to, we have to be hyper mindful that the left is paying attention to what we're saying. And so I don't want to be introducing people to each other right now until we trust people. So I'm going to recommend against trying to meet up with people. I think that's a bad idea right now. And you might say, Karlyn, how do you know the left is paying attention to you? You don't even, like, well, here's what people tell me all the time. They're like, Karlyn, you're not even relevant. You're not even relevant. You don't even have 200 people watching your YouTube stream. You have no supporters. You're not on any of these shows. Why would the left be watching you? You are not even relevant. You don't participate in the Twitter drama and the bullshit and all that nonsense. Why would they even be listening to you? Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. I last night did a training that is now available on my Substack and my YouTube channel and my Rumble, and you can also find it on my Twitter. I did about a 90-minute training where I walked people through what they need to know about going to the No Kings protest and how to approach it and how to interact with people. And yes, I covered what you wear, dress normally, don't wear a costume, dress normally. I covered all the basics that you need to know to infiltrate the No Kings protest. If you want to join the group that I'm organizing and contribute to the effort to collect information and report back, you must watch this training to find out how to join. I am not going to say how to join us anywhere except in this training, because I know you guys. People like shortcuts. And if I just say, you can join my group by emailing X, Y, B, and Z and telling me you want in, what's going to happen is there's going to be a bunch of people who don't take the step of watching the training and finding out the information that I want you to have in order to represent me well and to do right. And so I am requiring people to watch the training. And if you really want to join us and you really want to be a part of our community, this is not just a one-time effort, guys. This is going to be a long-term effort where we're building a database of people all over the country who are willing to go undercover with the left in their area and collect information and report back. I'm protecting everyone's identity very, very closely. But if you're going to play on my team, you're going to follow my rules. And my rules are, you're going to watch the training I did last night if you want to be involved and get access to things. And if you don't feel like watching the training, then you don't feel like then being part of my team. And that's just that is just the way it goes. Ninja Artist says, to the leftists who are trying to spy on us, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you, assholes. But anyway, so I did this training last night, and it wasn't that big of a deal. Honestly, it had a good turnout. I was pretty happy with the overall response. If you missed it, you can find it on the Substack. You can find it on the YouTube channel. You can find it on Rumble. You can find it on Twitter. It's all over the place. You can find their on-demand recording. It's totally free. But then, immediately after the training, the left started whining. Immediately after I finished the training, we were finding leftists commenting, whining about the training. So you want to know how I know that the far left is watching us? You want to know? Actually, these aren't even the far left. This is like a progressive asshole. I don't even know if I would say is the far left. You want to know how I know the left is watching me? You want to know how I know I'm relevant to the left? You want to know how I know they're paying attention? They're literally crying about me on the internet. Ryan here, who is some retard that has like 15,000 followers on Blue Sky. I don't really know what he does. I don't honestly really care what he does. Some creeps are talking about sending an army of infiltrators to the No Kings protest to gather intel on the left. So if you go start thinking now of the most unhinged fictional gossip you can share with any how do you do fellow kids ass weirdos who approach you. So what Ryan and his friends are probably not aware of is that, first off, we don't take any of what people say as the God's honest truth. Secondly, Ryan, we are there to collect primary source evidence. We are going to be collecting your pamphlets that you're handing out. We're going to be collecting your stickers. We're going to be taking pictures of the signs you retards have and are hanging up. We're going to be collecting your zines. We're going to be collecting anything that you want to give us for free. We're going to be taking pictures and documenting all of the organizations that are there. We're going to be looking at what those organizations are handing out and what their calls to action are. We're going to be looking at anything that we might get about queer collective bookstores or collective groups or liberation centers or things like that that we can join. We're going to be documenting what unions are there because we want to know what unions are doing far left organizing. If you retards think that you're going to be able to trick us by handing us fake propaganda, you stupid motherfucker. Do you know I look at your propaganda literally for a living? Do you know that I can sniff out a fake piece of propaganda as easily as I can sniff out any single thing, as easily as I can find a conservative trying to infiltrate your trainings that don't know what the fuck they're doing, because that happens an awful lot. You know, they're really underestimating us, guys. They're really underestimating the amount of commitment that my community has made to infiltrating them. The amount of hours that we have spent listening to their trainings. And now we're in a position where we really get to fuck these people over something fierce because They really do not see it coming at all. They know about me, but do they sit here and watch every single thing that I say? Do they sit here and watch every single thing that I do? I know they don't, and that is why we have this chicken spawn. I don't see a member chat, so I don't see that, bro. I'm sorry, I don't see it, so I don't know what happened there. Anyway. So Ryan was not the only one that was, and by the way, Ryan, we know you guys aren't paid by George Soros. That's a retard conservative talking point. You think we just fell off the fucking bus? I think it'll be really interesting though if someone does run into someone that's trying to fool them. Let's see how much you guys have learned. Let's see how much has been taught. I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. But the real victory, you might be saying, Karlyn, this is just some random asshole on Blue Sky. How do you know the left is really paying attention to you? How do you know? How do I know? How do I know? Well. I posted a tweet earlier today with the full video of the Infiltrating the Left training. You can currently find this pinned to the top of my Twitter if you are on there. And I was rather shocked and amazed to see Leah Greenberg retweeting my training. Who is Leah Greenberg, you ask? Leah is the co-executive director of Indivisible, the organization that is organizing the No Kings protest nationally. And also Jewish. Yeah, bagels in the chat, obviously. Obviously, we love Jews here, Leah. We don't have a problem with you being Jewish. We have a problem with you being a fucking progressive loser. So Leah Greenberg, the national executive director for Indivisible, seems to have taken notice of our little effort over here and tweeted out earlier today, okay, cool. I'm going to create an army of volunteers to go undercover in the army of volunteers going undercover for the upcoming No Kings protest. We shall infiltrate your infiltrations. It will be very confusing for everyone. Actually, Leah, no, it won't be confusing for everyone. Because again, Leah, do you know we've been watching your organizing calls for months? We're going to watch another one today. Do you know we've been watching your organizing calls for months, Leah? Do you know we already know what you guys are planning and what you're communicating out with all of your people? Do you know that we literally do this for fun, you dumb bitch? Do you know that people have been telling me that they're going to infiltrate me for like weeks on this effort? Like leftists have been coming over here. We've had leftists in the chat all the time. W in the chat for channel log. Oh, thank you so much for the gifted channel membership, bro. Really do appreciate that. Leah, do you know that we've actually had leftists come into our chat saying, we're going to infiltrate you? Do you know that I expect you guys to try to infiltrate me? Do you guys know that I've already planned contingencies around you guys infiltrating me? Do you guys know that we're going to make all the information we get public anyway? So it doesn't actually matter if you guys see it. Do you guys know that I'm already making the training I did last night public? So I'm fully accounting for the fact that you retards are going to see it and you're going to be upset about it. I didn't expect you to retweet me, Leah. I'm really glad that you're acknowledging my efforts in this way. But just know that if you guys try to do anything, like you're like, what are you guys going to do? You guys are going to be like, we're going to watch your live streams, Karlyn. So the fuck what? They're public on the internet, you dumb Jew. Not that there's anything wrong with being Jewish. What are you guys going to do? You're going to watch my training? I pinned it to the top of my Twitter, Leah. You're going to figure out that I have a Discord that we're using and you're going to join my Discord. Do you know what's in the Discord? Primary source evidence that is available in the public that we're gathering together in one place. How are you going to infiltrate my infiltrations? You're welcome. Do any leftists want to join the effort? You guys want to watch the training to figure out how to get in my Discord, to figure out how to join us? Do I look scared? I've been doing this a long time, Leah, and I've been doing it with people who are far more intimidating than you and your soy boy Jewish husband. Happy anniversary, by the way. Anyway. So they are taking notice. And if you guys want to reply to Leah and you guys want to tell her what you think, here is the link to the tweet that Leah sent. If you guys want to continue to help me ratio her, because I've already ratioed her, I'm having problems with my Twitter for some reason. That's why we're looking at screenshots. If you guys want to reply to her, there is the link in the chat. From Chicken Spawn member Chad, quit drinking on Saturday, this time for the long haul. Here's to sobriety. WP, let's go. Oh, I'm sorry. Chicken Spawn, maybe you sent that in before the stream started. If you sent it in before the stream started, sometimes it doesn't load. I really do appreciate you sending that in, Nick. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Chicken Spawn. Quitting drinking on Saturday. Really appreciate you, bro. Obviously appreciate everything you do for the community. You rock. And I'm sorry I didn't display. It's not showing up on my screen. So it probably was sent in before the stream started. Yep. It was a fail. It was an L. But that's okay. That's okay. Quitting drinking, W. W's to you, bro. Anyway, so guys, because we now know the left is watching us, because we know they're paying attention, because we know you guys, I need you guys to get spiteful when it comes to the left. I need everyone to hunker down and get spiteful. They believe, people like Leah Greenberg believe that if you show up to their event, you are going to stick out like a sore thumb. People like this Ryan retard over on Blue Sky believe that if you show up to the No Kings protest, they're going to be able to identify you and trick you with fake information. Are they going to be able to do that? One in the chat if you think that they're going to be able to trick us and identify us easily. Two in the chat if you think that we literally study the far left 6 days a week on this channel, and we know more about them than any other community on the internet. We train for this shit. We train for these moments. All those hours that we've spent watching socialism. Thank you so much, H. Tom. I really do appreciate the super chat. Thanks for the training. Some good tips in there. Yeah, it's like basic stuff, but I think it's things everyone needs to know, especially if you're doing this for the first time. We know more about what the left is doing and saying and how they operate and how they organize and how they speak and the language that they use than any other community on the internet. These dumb bitches think they're going to be able to identify us. They might run around trying to identify other people that are just brand new to leftism, but we've been doing this shit for a long time. All of those hours that we spend watching socialism on Socialism Saturdays has prepared us for this moment. All of these streams that we have done watching far left training and going into their organizing calls with Spy Stream, it has prepared us for this moment. The people who've been on my channel for several months, you guys are more than prepared to go to this event, to blend in seamlessly, to collect this information, and to do it all without anyone having any idea that you are part of a group that is trying to infiltrate them and collect all the intelligence and report back to the public what's really going on. If you want to join me in this effort, and you want to be a part of the group where we're going to be putting all this stuff together and making it available to the public, then what you need to do is watch the Infiltrating the Left training that I did last night. It is available on demand on the Substack. That is Karlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. You can find it on the website Decode the Left. You can find it on the Center for Left Wing Studies website, leftwingstudies.com. You can find it on my Twitter. You can find it on my YouTube. You can find it on my Rumble. There is literally no excuse for not being able to find this training. This training is in multiple places all over the internet. It is available totally for free. And the way that you join my effort specifically is that you watch the training and you follow the very clear instructions that I'm giving you in the training. No, you cannot join if you will not watch the training. The training is 90 minutes long. It gives you really important information that you need to know. It gives you some information about the different groups you can expect to see, how I expect you to behave, what I expect you not to do when you are doing something connected to me. And I'm going to be very clear about this. When I say infiltrating the left, we are not going to dress up in a fucking costume and pretend to be Antifa to disrupt them. We are not going to instigate fights. We are not going to instigate debates. We are not going to instigate at all. The only reason for you to talk to them is to get them to tell you more information. We are going to collect information and primary source evidence. If you go and you are pull some fucking social media stunt where you start a fight with one of them and record it to put it on social media to go viral on the internet, you are not on my team. That is not what we are doing. We are detached observers collecting information that we can make into usable data to map the presence of leftist groups all over the country that are active, that are trying to recruit and radicalize people to their cause, that are actually out there doing things in the real world directly. That is what we are doing, and that's the type of stuff we talk about in this training. Thank you, average person, for the super chat. To the leftists watching, you guys thinking we're going to be like retard conservatives means you allow us to fly under the radar at your events. That is exactly right. An average person would know, too, because average person has been undercover with radical revolutionary leftist groups for a long-term effort, not just once. Average person is a member of revolutionary groups that they them interacts with on a consistent basis and reports back to us what's going on. This person knows better than anyone about how to blend in with the left. They them does it all the time. So good luck, leftists. Good luck. If you want to join our effort, again, watch the training. I give very clear instructions in the training. It is not subtle, but you must watch it and you must go through the steps. And if you don't want to watch the training, then you don't have to join us, and that's the way it goes. But if you want to join us and get access to the information we have and join the community to do this, there is no money involved except whatever you have to pay to go to the protest. If you're taking a bus there or something like that, you got to work that out on your own, man. But watch the training, follow the directions, and you can come and join us. And in order to facilitate this, guys, we are going to be watching an organizing call the No Kings people did last week. We are going to be spending quite a bit of time with them. There's also some spy streams coming up this week. There's going to be at least one spy stream tomorrow, maybe two. Maybe one, though. Maybe one, we're going to see. The other one I'm debating on. I think I'm going to do the other one as like a public stream. So anyway, but there will be at least one spy stream tomorrow. There will be a spy stream on Wednesday. I'm pretty sure there's going to be other spy streams this week as well. We're going to be focusing on getting ready again for the No Kings protest by consuming as much of their content as we can, really picking apart their plans. They did this call last week that they recorded and is now an unlisted video on their YouTube channel. How interesting is that? Only has 121 views. Holy shit, No Kings. Holy shit, I'm going to give you more views on this training in a single stream than you guys have on the whole thing. But they did an organizing call last week, organizing for No Kings and beyond, and they recorded it. And so we're going to watch it, and we're going to see what they had to say. All right? And so that is what we are doing on this training. Now, guys, I would love if we could make some progress towards the channel membership goal before we get started. Because the thing of it is Spy Stream is a supporter exclusive stream. And so the more channel members we can bring in on this stream, the more people are going to have access to Spy Stream tomorrow, the more people are going to have access to Spy Stream on Wednesday, the more people that we can get involved in our community. And this is basically, guys, this is how I fund my work. If you appreciate what I'm doing, trying to do something that literally no one else is, if you appreciate this effort that I'm putting forth to try to get a nationwide team of volunteers to go to this No Kings protest, to collect primary source evidence no one has, to take that evidence back and work with everyone to synthesize it, to create a map of leftist groups, if you appreciate the stuff I'm doing, please consider funding it. One of the best ways you can fund it is by sending in some channel memberships and doing it that way. Or you can join my Substack. That's awesome. You can buy some merch from my merch store. The merch store is going to be getting an update soon. I know I always say that, but it really will be. So that's redmenacesupply.com. You can send in super chats, and that's awesome. W's to Star in the chat, gifting 5 channel memberships. Thank you so much, Star. Really, really appreciate that. That brings us up to 7. Look at that. Anyone else want to go? Anyone else before we get started? It would be great to make some progress on that before we get started. I'm going to sit here and wait too. Maybe if you guys, are you guys telling me you don't appreciate what I'm doing? Are you guys telling me you don't find it valuable that I'm doing all this shit for free in my spare time? Is that I could maybe I should have just spent more time in the gym today. Maybe you guys do you guys not want to do the stream? Do you guys not want to watch the No King stuff and prepare for this weekend? Really? That's the type of day we're gonna have? That's the type of day we're gonna have? No memberships, no stream. No memberships, no stream. No memberships, no stream. You don't all have iPhones. Guys, this is a 2-hour training. It's like a 2-hour training. W's to Grim with the channel memberships. Thank you so much, Grim, for that. W's to Peggy for the channel memberships. W's Brown Barbaloo for the channel memberships. Thank you, guys. I was starting to feel really unloved over here. W's to Chitalago for the channel memberships. That's 12, getting us up to 19. Can we get up to 25? Can we get up to 25 though? Can we get 25% of the way to our goal? I was seriously, I'm not even joking. I was seriously like, should I just end the stream? Because this is a 2-hour meeting. Should I just end the fucking stream? I was like, I don't even know. Toki Fan W! Can we get 5 more, guys? Can we get 5 more to make me feel good about this? Can we get 5 more before we start the stream? That would be awesome. I would appreciate it. It's all good. Listen, it's all good. If you can't afford it, I'm not asking you. I'm asking the people who can afford it to pony up some channel memberships. Ginny in Texas. W's to Ginny in Texas. Donating a channel membership. Can we get 4 more? I was seriously considering ending the stream just then. I was like, no one actually wants to do this? Okay, well, no, we don't have to do it then. We don't have to do it. Can we get... Actually, did I just fuck that up? That should not have been a 4. That should have been a... That should have been a 1. That should have been a 1. Don't get too excited. There we go. There we go. Can we get 1 more person giving 5 before we start? Oh, there we go. Mass Genocide. I knew you guys would do it. I knew. Thank you, Mass Genocide. I appreciate you. Yo, we also got the Great Otis in with 5. Appreciate you, Great Otis. W's to Mass Genocide. W's to Great Otis. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we got another one. Do we get another one? Hang on. Boo-doo-doo. We got 1 from Vilkery. W's to Vilkery. Thank you for that one. You guys rock. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It must be Monday. You guys are making me strong arm you. Okay, we're getting into the training now, guys. Hoping to get about 70 more channel memberships donated throughout the stream today. If I teach you something, if I inspire you in some way, please feel free to show your appreciation, fund the work I'm doing. I really do appreciate it. We are digging into a No Kings organizing call from last week. This was a national organizing call, organizing for No Kings and beyond, create a movement that's built to last. This is to help us prepare to go undercover at the No Kings protests this weekend. Please feel free to mount the like button if you would be so kind. Mounting the like button lets YouTube know to recommend my content to more people. I would really appreciate it. If you have questions anytime throughout the stream, please feel free to chat in those questions, and I will try to answer as many questions as I can. And just be good. Don't be dicks in the chat. Don't be stupid. Don't be retards. All that stuff. Let's get this party started, guys.
Welcome. My name is Kate. My pronouns are they, them, and I am here to welcome you to what is going to be an incredible intensive around organizing for No Kings and beyond. This, y'all, is truly a moment for hosts to create the movement that is built to last and built to win as we move forward. We have an incredible organizer and leader in this community and beyond who is going to be training for us tonight, and I cannot wait to introduce her. This is a joint partnership between No Kings and 5051. We are bringing in the incredible Voices of Florida, which is a grassroots group and a grassroots incredible leader who are going to be here. So again, as we have people coming in, my name is Kate. My pronouns are they, them. I'm here with the No Kings team to introduce all of you hosts and any leaders who wanted to gain this information into this incredible training that is being put on for us in partnership with 5051 by Voices of Florida Fund. And we are so excited to have them. Now, before we jump
Oh,
in, I did
wait,
want to.
I'm sorry. What was that organization? Voices of Florida. Was that the name of the organization? Voices of Florida?
My pronouns are they, them. I'm here with the No Kings team to introduce all of you hosts and any leaders who wanted to gain this information into this incredible training that is being put on for us in partnership with 5051 by Voices of Florida Fund. And
Voices of Florida. You don't say. Voices of Florida is a Florida-based 501c3 nonprofit formerly known as Women's Voices of Southwest Florida Fund. Thank you, Gulf. Appreciate that.
we are so excited to have them. Now, before we jump in, I did want to add y'all just a couple of different things. Remember, this is a public call. We actually have some incredible teammates with us, Adrian and Corey, who are helping us bring names down to just first names. That way, anything you're sharing doesn't give location, doesn't give your last name. We really want to create the most welcoming communal space because that is the kind of training that this is.
Is there a chance that that's a Karlyn disclaimer? Do they have a Karlyn disclaimer? A Karlyn disclaimer is when they are fully aware that I may be recording them at all times and they remind people that they should probably remain anonymous because I'm going to have the chat showing on the screen and I'm going to record all their names. The No Kings people have a Karlyn disclaimer? Oh, shit.
But we also want to stay vigilant and aware, just like we do in any of our security or safety trainings, that it's always possible that some bad actors can sneak in. Now, we have a team ready to go if that does happen, but just want to keep us all aware what it means when we do these public calls and the movement that we get to be together. So I see folks are starting to jump into the chat, introducing themselves. Thank you so much.
All know there's not shit
and a reminder
they can do about it.
Sarah is going to walk through some incredible stuff. We are going to send a follow-up information with materials, including the recording of this and the videos that you're going to see throughout this, as well as, of course, upping the host toolkit and any other materials we talk through. Now, this training in particular is going to really use the Q&A function, so make sure you use it. And as always in our No King spaces, this is a time to come together, learn, grow together, and build a movement that can win. So that means we show up with respect for ourselves and for one another. So as we keep going, I just wanted to give a few things. I know this is a busy slide, but just a heads up. If you are someone who doesn't love emojis, there is a way for you to get rid of those emojis. So you can edit your Zoom reaction, but the one here to aspire to be more like every single day. And that is Sarah Parker. Sarah Parker is the founder of Women's Voices. Sarah Parker is a long-term Floridian. She is a proud Black mother, and she founded the Voices of Florida Fund, which is a grassroots organization founded on defending reproductive freedom and social justice. Under Sarah's leadership, Voices of Florida Fund champions reproductive health care, equality, human rights, and it is centered in Black and queer-led movement building. Sarah has organized in Florida for over a decade and served as a leader in her local Black Lives Matter. She played a huge role in the George Floyd protests. She later helped to launch Occupy Florida in response to Florida's abortion ban and has supported statewide efforts through civic engagement and organization. And Sarah is now a 50-50.
How does the No Kings protest do anything to make significant change? Are you serious? Is Trump doing mass deportations right now? One in the chat if you think that Trump is doing mass deportations right now. Two in the chat if you think that Trump is not doing mass deportations right now. One in the chat if you believe that Trump is doing mass deportations. Two in the chat if you believe that Trump is not doing mass deportations. Do you want to know why you're seeing so many twos in the chat right now? Because Trump is not doing mass deportations. They wanted to do mass deportations. They plan to do mass deportations. Do you know why they're not doing mass deportations? Because of leftist organizing. Do you know what has been at the focal point of leftist organizing since Trump took office? The No Kings protests. The No Kings protests have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger every single time that they've done them. The No Kings protests are a fertile recruiting ground for recruiting and radicalizing more people to the far left. By the way, yep, they're also doing voter registration at all those events. And I'm sure you guys know that. And you guys are going to feel the wrath of that in the midterms. A lot of you guys think that you're winning the midterms. You're not fucking winning the midterms. You're going to get fucking slaughtered in the midterms. And everyone knows it who's hinged into reality. So they're doing mass voter registration. They're doing mass fundraising. They are they're galvanizing people against ICE, which is causing more anti-ICE activism all over the country, which has directly contributed to the Trump administration getting chased out of multiple American cities where they've tried to do deportations. They've lost control of everything. And this is one of their key organizing events that they do. And they're able to bring out 9 million people on a single day. And by the way, Trump, on his best fucking day, isn't bringing out anywhere close to the amount of people that the No Kings protests are going to bring out. There is nothing that the right can do to compare with the organizing apparatus that the left has. So if you don't understand the significance of this, that to me is just willful ignorance at that point. It really is. It's like if you think these protests are stupid and they don't do anything, then you are not hinged into reality and you're probably consuming way too much conservative propaganda because no one with a working brain believes that these protests are insignificant. These protests lead directly to the ICE rapid response groups. These protests lead directly to voter registration. These protests lead to other protests. These protests lead to recruiting and radicalizing more people to the far left. These protests have been instrumental in the left's overall defeat of the Trump administration. And yes, the left has defeated the Trump administration. Trump is on his knees begging the left to stop. And these protests are part of the reason why.
One national coordinator along with her team. Sarah, thank you so much for being here. Cannot wait for you to dive in. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so your team can start sharing and you can dive in.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kate. I'm excited to be in a space with you again. I'm going to take a moment and let Corey get everything up. They're going to be assisting me today. I'm seeing all these amazing people that are sharing where they're from. Super excited about that. I'm loving to see some people from the South. Again, my name is Sarah Parker. My pronouns are she, her. And I'm an executive director of Voices of Florida Fund. This training is going to be pretty extensive. So I definitely recommend, if you haven't, grab some water, grab pen and paper, and we're about to get into it. Awesome. This is the organizing of
can you imagine a reality in which let's just exist in the land of fantasy for a moment, okay? Let's say the first No Kings protest was 5 million people. The first No Kings protest last year was 5 million people. That event was the largest single day protest in American history. That single event. The second No Kings protest was 7 million people. That again was the largest single day protest in American history. Can you imagine a reality in which the right is able to bring out 5 million people to a mass day of action across 3,000 events all over the country? And then a couple months later, they're able to bring out 7 million people to a mass day of action. And then they go, this doesn't really mean anything, guys. No, we didn't accomplish anything. Can you imagine a reality in which the right, if they had accomplished the same thing the left does, can you imagine a reality in which they would say, this didn't really do anything and it's a big waste of time and it's stupid? That would never happen. That would never fucking happen. But the left does it, and that is the right's response because the right does not take this seriously. If the left is if we can imagine a ludicrous reality, because this is never going to happen, the right won't organize because the left organizes, and the right believes that if they organize, they're just like the left, and they won't do it just because they rebel against whatever the left does, even if what the left is doing is smart and effective. If the right were able to bring out 5 million people to an event, can you imagine a reality in which they would then go, I don't know, guys, this was really stupid and a big waste of time. They would be celebrating it. They'd be talking about it for fucking ever. It would be the biggest thing that's ever happened. But the left does that, and the right says, this is stupid. It is absurd. This mentality they have that these protests don't mean anything. It is absurd. If they were ever able to accomplish the same thing the left was, they'd be shouting it from the rooftops for all fucking time.
Absorption training, hosted by Voices of Florida Fund. We're going to jump right in and go on to the next slide where we're going to do some housekeeping rules. Corey? There you go. Housekeeping rules. Please stay muted. I don't think you can unmute yourself, but if you can, please do not. Be patient. I know once we start getting into this, people have a lot of questions. And some of those questions, I just want to be clear, there are no wrong questions. This is an open space. I want people to feel comfortable. I want people to ask real questions and hard questions. And I'm going to give you the best answer I can, and be kind. One thing that I like to say is when I'm doing this training is like, take what you want and leave what you don't want. Some of this information might be very new to you. Some of this information might not be new to you, and that's totally okay. We have different people from the organizing spectrum. With that being said, I will sometimes wait and pause when I ask a question because I don't like talking at you guys. I like you guys to be in community with me. This is why we have community norms and values, which we'll talk about if you don't know what that is. So I want to be engaged. I want people to talk to me while we do this. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide. We're going to talk about the agenda a little bit. What makes an organizer organize, which is kind of like also like what makes a good leader, the core concepts in movement building, how to build a movement, how to build capacity, how to grow your people, working across movements, and a Q&A. So I have a question in the chat or in the Q&A. Do you know what
that's not
capacity means?
No. The globalists are a completely different problem. That's nothing. It has nothing to do with this. It's a problem, but it's a different problem than this. I understand why you asked it, but two different problems.
When someone's like, oh, we want to help you gain capacity, we want to build capacity. Because I know when I first started, I had no idea when people were like, oh, we want to build a movement and we want to build capacity. People power. Yep. Susan said fullness. Yep. These are good. These are good synonyms. I'm looking for two more. This is the practice run, y'all. Oh, you're using the Q&A function. Ability to deliver. Skills, more people. Okay. We're going to actually talk about that. So with that being said, let's go to the next slide. Do you believe you're an activist or an organizer?
Yo, Hans! Holy shit! Hans just pulled out his dick and showed it to everyone, and apparently it's massive. It's massive. It's at least 20 inches long. Thanks, Hans, for the channel memberships. Massive, massive, massive W's to Hans. Handing out 20 channel memberships. Really appreciate that, bro. The big swinging dick in the room so far today. Getting us past our halfway point like a fucking legend. Thank you, bro. You rock.
An activist or an organizer? Both. Both. Okay, love this. I do now. Okay, I see a lot of both. Organizer. I'm looking in the Q&A. Both. Okay. Can someone tell me, and also use the Q&A for this part, can someone tell me the difference?
Andre's like, hang on, Karlyn. I've got a giant cock as well. And Does anyone else want to show off their manhood by giving some channel memberships? W is in the chat to Andre. What a fucking legend, bro. Thank you so much. Another 20 channel memberships. Look how easy that is. I had to beg so hard. And then this is just, it's so much easier. It's so much easier. You guys rock. Thank you so much for contributing to the channel. Welcome to all our new channel members. You guys all now have access to Spy Stream tomorrow and the next day if you're a new channel member. So you also have access to movie night tonight, by the way. We're watching, the interview in the supporter Discord tonight. So we're going to be doing movie night at 9 p.m. I will be posting out to the community page, the link to the supporter Discord if you want to come join us. So welcome to all of our, so far, 73 new channel members. Appreciate you guys.
Between being an activist or an organizer, if you said both.
Yeah, they wanted to see me beg. True.
Why are you saying you're an activist? Why are you saying you're an organizer? And why are you saying both? Activist, but want to be an organizer, Dara. I love that. Activist. Okay. I show up and I help others show up. Sometimes I lead, sometimes I follow. Good job. I bring a group with me.
Yeah!
Building system.
Old subs like, hang on a second. Old sub apparently has multiple dicks. I don't know if that's possible. He has multiple dicks. They're all massive, and we love and appreciate him. He's gallivanting around through Europe right now, and he's still dropping by to bestow 50 channel memberships to the chat. Yo, bro, you spoil me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. We love you. We appreciate you. Do you guys know Old Sub has been putting Plague Doctor stickers all over Europe, and he's posting about it on Twitter? So like and it's just like it's so cryptic, and I love it so much that there's just a random Plague Doctor sticker with my logo somewhere in a Turkish city or wherever you are. I don't even know where you are at this point, but like it's so fucking cool. What a fucking legend. Thank you, bro, so much for supporting the channel. Welcome to all of the new channel members. And hey, guys, look at that. We met our goal. Look at that. We're like 123 now. There we go. No big deal. You guys can keep sending me in channel memberships, though, if you really want to. I appreciate everyone who's donated so far today. Let's get into it.
And participate. Awesome. So a lot of things you're going to see is I like to call it confirmation bias. When I started building out this to begin with, I was trying to train a lot of 50-51 new organizers.
Appreciate you.
And I got to do research, and it felt so validating because the things I would say, there were videos for it. So you're going to see what I call confirmation bias. And also you're going to see a lot of definitions. I think it's really important. So when you have these conversations that you can learn about these things in a really efficient way, because you need to know what the definitions mean to be able to learn about them. B, you can talk about them when you're sitting at a table that might be more institutional, right? You can have those conversations. I remember when I first got involved, Kate was involved with me when I was a smaller, younger organizer, that I didn't know what these words mean. So I want to give you everything that was given to me in a matter of 2 hours, which is not possible, but we are going to try. Can we go over to the next slide?
What's this?
Is there a difference between organizing and activism? Huge difference.
I think there's definitely a distinction between them.
I think they're thought of as the same in a lot of respects, and they can definitely cross. In short, activism or being an activist is showing up to things, and being an organizer is making those things possible.
So being an activist, you're called upon to show up at rallies, show up with petitions. Activism is really in the name, like you take action.
They're the ones with the banners, the ones that say fight the power, and then they go home and continue their lives.
Hey, we got a member chat here. Thanks, Glow, for being a member of the channel for 3 months. Thank you for the work you do. I've learned a ton in a few months. You have the best understanding of the radical left by far. Hey, bro, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a member of the channel. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for learning. We love people who learn, and I really appreciate it.
Organizing is organizing for those activists to show up. So giving them a vehicle to do that.
Organizing is really putting all the pieces in motion that allow for that action to happen. So it's doing all the background work that's usually not seen, but is essential.
You have people who are artists who like want to incorporate their artistry in struggle. So my job is to organize that resource. So it helps the movement to move and be able to do your skills in that venue. So organizing is all those elements, really uplifting people to be leaders in whatever they want to do.
There's different times to be an activist and to be an organizer, and I think all, and this is probably maybe an overstatement, but I think all organizers are activists or can be activists, but not all activists are organizers, if that makes sense. There's a lot of different organizing that's happening around a lot of different things, justice for Palestine, LGBT issues, race issues, labor issues, student issues. And I think it's pretty much impossible to be like one person that's like organizing all of that, but there are people that are doing specific work on each one of them.
So this is actually an important point because for going to the No Kings protest this weekend, we are not necessarily looking to talk to activists. What we want to talk to, if you talk to anyone, and you don't have to talk to people if you don't want to, but if you talk to anyone, talk to the organizers, because the organizers are going to have a much higher level idea of what's going on than just someone showing up at a protest. So anyone can show up at a protest, guys. Like literally anyone can show up at a protest. You're going to have crazy people show up at the protest. You're going to have people show up at the protest that just want to see what's going on because it's an interesting thing to watch. You're going to have people who are showing up for the first time and don't know shit about shit. You're going to have people who show up just because their friends brought them. Like if someone shows up at a protest, they could be considered to be an activist, but who we want to talk to, the knowledgeable people, the people who are putting these events together, the people who are deciding on what talking points get spoken from the stage. We want to talk to the organizers. Those are going to be people with clipboards. Those are going to be the people handing things out. Those are going to be the people that are trying to get you on a mailing list, looking for volunteer opportunities, that sort of thing. Those are the people who are knowledgeable. We don't care about just the crazy person that wandered in off the street. That's not, you can't call that far left organizing. We care about the people who are doing this on an ongoing basis. Hope that makes sense.
And because they all intersect, and a lot of times because you're friends and have networks and relationships with people, you show up to their thing because it's all about justice. It's all about dignity and solidarity with everybody.
For activism, we all have been activists at one point, but it's a transition from activists to organizing.
Okay, so I think that a lot of you actually answered pretty correctly. And if you want to change your answer, I'm looking at the chat as we go, you can. An organizer and an activist you can be both, or you can be either. I think a lot of you in this space are probably organizers. Who's all organizing a No Kings protest right now? Actually organizing it, making sure you have speakers and safety and water. Okay, you look at there. Wow, super excited. Awesome. Love this. Great. So like all of you are organizing, right? I saw a comment like this is going to be 2 hours. This is going to get into like the psychology around organizing. It is going to get into the nitty gritty, and it's not just about organizing a protest. It's about organizing your community to get something done. And as we look after,
it's not just about the protest. People who think this is about the protest are missing the overall picture. The protest is just but one opportunity in a long string of opportunities. The protest is just one event to get people to come out to. The goal of the left is not just to get people out to one event. It's to get them to come to event after event after event after event after event. They're not just looking for a one-off. This is another thing conservatives don't understand about this. They are not looking for a one-off. They are looking for an ongoing continuum of getting people to come out, because if they can get people to come out to like 3 or more events, they know they basically have those people like in perpetuity forever. So their initial goal when you get people started with doing stuff like this is just to get people out to one thing. For a lot of people on Saturday, the No Kings protest is going to be their first time at an event like that, because a lot of people are pissed off about the Iran stuff. A lot of people are pissed off about the way Trump is handling many things. So there's going to be a lot of new people where the No Kings protest on Saturday is going to be the first time they've gone to something like this. But just understand, the left's goal is not to get them out to the No Kings protest. That's just the first step. It's to get them out to the No Kings protest, and then to get them onto some sort of call, and then to get them to go to some sort of event, and then to get them to go to a house party, and then to get them to go to another protest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just the top of the funnel. It's like a sales funnel. They're trying to get as many people into the top of the funnel with the big events as possible in order to get people into the funnel of leftist activism.
Kings, we're going to talk about building that community and talking about inside of your community, what's next. Can we go ahead and go to the next slide? An activist, just for definitions, right? I said I'm really big on definitions, is a person who campaigns to bring about political or social change. While an organizer is someone who takes proactive action to bring about social, political, or economic change by mobilizing people, keyword, mobilizing people, and resources to address a specific cause or issue. Go ahead and go to the next one. Being a good leader. Just throw it out there. What's one thing that you think you have to do to be a good leader? One thing. I'm going to read 2 or 3 of them, and then we're going to go to the next slide. Listen, resolve, accountability, listen, delegate, good listener, engage, mentor. Good, great. Let's go to the next slide. So I'm listening to the listen, and I think when I first got involved, I did not pretend I knew everything. I like to say that if you think that you know everything, you think you're the smartest person in the room, you tend to be the most dangerous person in the room. And I mean that in a way of accidentally creating a space where people don't feel like they can necessarily give you feedback. And I saw a lot of listen. So I got an offer to go to Rockwood Leadership, a really good thing. And it was probably one of the most amazing experiences. And it kind of taught me about myself. And it taught me a lot about my leadership skills, from where I react to things and like what in my past caused me.
It is actually just smart to create an environment where people feel intimidated to give you feedback. That's called being smart.
To react to these things. But specifically, one thing I realized is listening without listening to respond. And a lot of times we listen to respond, definitely when someone is giving feedback. There was actually a situation where we had to write a speech in 3 minutes, prepare the speech, say the speech in a very small group, and then they got to give us feedback about our speech. Obviously, it's only like 3 minutes, right? So like you immediately, when someone gives you feedback, you want to justify, and that's normal. That's a normal human reaction. And in that, I was not allowed to justify. I was to say, okay, thank you. That was probably the first activity we did, and I'm going to tell you, it was the hardest. And I think even one time I was like, and they were like, you can't do that. You have to say, okay, thank you. So taking feedback, it is extremely hard sometimes. Definitely when you work day in and day out to organize, it sometimes feels like a personal attack, and it's not, right? And one thing I do with my team is I ask them to ask me, am I in a position for feedback? And if I say no, I then ask them to please email me, right? Or to call me later when I am in a position for feedback. Now, that does not mean you get to brush it off all the time, but like until, a week from then, it's like, maybe a few hours or the next day. But a lot of leadership skills is listening and taking feedback, communicating efficiently. I sometimes drop the ball on that. I've been doing this for over a decade. I'm not perfect. I try my best. And that's something I tell my kids every single day. And that's something I take into my organizing space. So a lot of times as leaders, we're moving so fast. We're going and going, and we might not communicate really well. And then someone might tell us that we didn't communicate really well. And when they do that, it's hard to take that feedback, right? Because we're doing 100 different things. And in that, because we didn't communicate really well, something small might happen. And one of the things that I tell my team and I tell myself is tell the truth. And when we think about telling the truth, like, it is not just like, oh, I'm lying. You don't do it. It's not subconscious. It's telling the truth in the fact of like, you know what? Yes, I dropped the ball. I don't have to give an excuse. I can just be accountable. I dropped the ball, and that's okay. I'm human, right? No one is perfect. We have never been infallible. I actually got that tattooed on me at the beginning of this movement to remind me that even being a leader of a nationwide movement, that I'm not going to be perfect.
Why on earth would you get it tattooed on yourself that you're I am never getting that I am imperfect tattooed on myself. I'm going to tell you guys that right now. I am infallible. I am fucking infallible. My word is God on this YouTube channel. There is no one who outranks me. I should get that. I should get that tattooed on me.
I'm going to make mistakes.
My word is God.
Someone said self-care in the chat, and I see you. Remind your team to take self-care moments. How many of you, and I'm probably going to ask this question again, but let's just do it now. How many of you, think about one thing you used to do before the movement started, before you started organizing, because I know a lot of you have been organizing for a long time. One hobby. Do not give personal identifying information. Drop one thing you used to do, let's say 2 Octobers ago. Walks, dance, hike. Riding, salsa dancing. Oh, I love that. Golf, cycling, reading. Okay. Singing. Great. Okay.
Yo, side note. Can I just tell you guys? Side note, complete side note. I got a China delivery earlier today. I got to tell you, China has outdone themselves. China has outdone themselves. Because for the first time, I ventured into ordering clothes from China, and I got a $12,000 leather jacket. Obviously, I didn't pay $12,000 for it from China. I was apprehensive. I was like, China, I know you can make really high-end knockoffs bags, but can you make a high-end knockoff of a $12,000 leather jacket? I'll even show you guys what I got. I'll even show you guys. I think I have it on my screen somewhere. Maybe I don't. I thought I did. Maybe I don't. I don't even know. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. This one. I was like, China, can you make me a knockoff of this $12,000 leather jacket? And I was apprehensive. I was like, I don't know if China can pull this off. I just got it. It is so good. It's so good. I was like, I am never buying clothes retail again. From now on, I'm buying them from China. I'm buying my clothes from China. I'm buying my shoes from China. I buy bags from China. I obviously buy real bags too sometimes on the resale market. But the fact that I just got a $12,000 leather jacket for a couple $100 and it's full fucking leather and it's high quality and it's beautiful and it's fucking awesome. I'm just like, I bow down. I bow down to our Chinese overlords. China is ruling us, and there's just nothing we can do about it. China has figured out how to make a $12,000 leather jacket for a couple $100, which includes shipping to get the fucking thing over here from China. I'm here for it. It's fucking awesome. It's the best.
I'm going to look at the Q&A too. Still doing it all. songwriting, sculpting. Okay. Now in that, how do you do it? How often do you do that thing that used to bring you joy? How often are you doing that now in this moment? Less, never, not very often, not as much, once a week, never. I hope y'all are seeing the chat of like the never. Now I'm going to try to turn it back on you. If you're not doing it and you're a leader and you're an organizer, do you believe that your team is doing that? Your team also, nope, right? Your team follows you as a leader. You create a space where they feel like if you're going, that they too have to go, or they're going to miss an important moment. They're going to miss an important decision, or they're going to feel like they're failing you, right? And self-care is incredibly important in this. One of the things I talk about in another training is that opposition wants you tired. They want you exhausted. They want you operating in anger and not love. They want you to not take care of yourself because that creates burnout. I believe it's said that it takes about 5 to 10 years or something that to become an expert in organizing. 7 to 10 years to become an expert in organizing. People tend to get burnt out between 5 and 7 and 3 and 5. That means that we're having this gap of all of this information and knowledge that's not being passed on. We're losing leaders because people aren't taking care of themselves. And one of the things, again, that I talk about in another training is agape, which is this practice that Martin Luther King did. And it's a practice of unconditional love for oneself and for your community, and also unconditional love for the people that you're working with. So taking care of yourself and reminding your team to take care of themselves too, and checking in on them and asking them to take a break. I know in certain spaces, like in Orlando, they turn off, like if you have a Signal chat or WhatsApp, whatever, they will turn it off during the weekends unless there's an important thing happening, right? Right now, we are headed up to March 28th for No Kings. I understand. But after March 28th, finding that moment to be like, okay, all of us need to take some times. And Albert, you need to stop operating in anger. It will make you sick. If you're angry, your body is reacting. Your physical mind is reacting. You're not being as strategic as you possibly can. When you're acting in love, you're sitting there really thinking about it. You become strategic. It is a game of chess for you. Yep, and your body keeps score. Awesome. Okay, so let's keep going. Reminding your team, listen intently. We oftentimes, and if you're in a relationship, you know this, if your partner goes to tell you something, you're often about to make them read the room, right? You're about to tell them the 15 things they didn't do when they're telling you didn't do the dishes, and you're like, well, you didn't make the bed, you didn't mow the lawn, you didn't do this, right? We're oftentimes listening to respond. Instead of listening intently, taking a step back, even if it feels uncomfortable, and being like, okay, I'm going to sit with that. I'm going to active listening. I'm going to metabolize that. Knowing your red lines. Okay. One thing is that I'm not asking you when you're doing all of this to allow to be pushed over, right? As leaders, we have to stand strong, not only for ourselves, but for the people that are following behind us or on the side of us, right? And a red line is pretty much like, I'm not okay with this, right? I think like No Kings has lots of red lines when it comes to like, we can't have candidates speaking. That is a red line, right? Figure out what your red line with your organizations. What are you willing to do and what are you not willing to do, right? And you can't have 150 red lines. That's just the reality. You have to sometimes take a step back and be like, you know what? Even if you think, for instance, one thing I do with my team is that I think I'm right, like 95% of the time. Let me not lie. Like, I think I'm right 95% of the time, right? And I think some of you can probably relate. In that,
I'm right 100% of the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sometimes they don't think I'm right? And so I saw the laughing emoji. One of my things that I do is like, if this isn't a red line and it's not going to really create a lot of chaos, it's okay to let your team fail. And also, it is okay to say, wait, I was wrong when they succeed. That is that's real empowerment, right? It's being like 5 of your team members are like, you know what, I actually want to do this march route, even though you've done this march route the Southern March route for X amount of no kings, right? And your team is confident, as long as it's not dangerous, they can try something new. And you might have to take a step back and be like, you know what? I'm going to trust my team. So knowing your red line, a red line is a boundary. Yep, exactly. Knowing what your boundaries are. So detoxifying your workspace. That goes back up to remind your team to take self-care moments. If you are not taking care of, how about this? I'm sure a lot of you organize on Signal, and if you don't, and maybe on Facebook Messenger. From the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, how many of you are readily available if one of your organizers or one of your volunteers call you? Can you hear me? Someone said I lost. Yep.
We can hear you.
Me. Okay. Yep. All day. Yes. Yeah. Me. 50-50. Okay. Okay. So that's a problem. You don't think that that's a problem, but that's actually sleep with my phone on. If you are readily available, and I still have to work on this, 9 times out of 10, they also feel like they have to be readily available. That means they can't take that self-care moment. That means, I wish they would call me. They can't take that self-care moment. That means they can't take a step back and take a break. And then that creates burnout. And like, it is okay to have boundaries, right? Like, I will turn my phone off. One of my boundaries is like, we don't try to work on like weekends when we don't have to. If I'm spending time with my 4 and 6-year-olds, I'm not going to be readily available unless it's an emergency. And if it's an emergency, we have code words, or you can pick up the phone and call me. We have to detoxify that. We have to set community norms and values. We have to remind to take self-care moments. Y'all, this is a marathon. And
I just want to emphasize this. Like, when we're going to the No Kings protest, the protest itself is incidental. What we don't care as much about the protest itself. We'll watch their speeches and we'll listen to them and stuff like that. That's fine. But what we care about is the network around the protest and the network that the protesting is facilitating. That is the target. The protest is immaterial. The network is actually what we're interested in. Really good point.
It's not a sprint. We are going to be going for a little while, right? Like, we are stopping authoritarianism in its tracks, and that's not an easy task. Exactly. Not when I'm driving, Jan. I really hope that you are not available when you're driving, unless it's a phone call. So detoxifying your workspace and really maybe setting hours. And obviously, a lot of you are volunteers. And so like, you might not, your hours might look a little different, right? But if not setting hours, being like, one thing that I saw and I started doing, and I'm not sure who started it, if it was me or this other organizer, but people started putting OOO in their name, meaning out of office. And once someone did it, then I did it, then I realized it was an effect that happened. Everyone started doing it. And they started going into different spaces. And it wasn't because it's just Sarah that was doing it. They were like, wait a minute, I can let people know, like, I'm out of office, or at me. Like, I'm not really paying attention to my phone right now. You need to tag me if you actually need me. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. And I'm going to look at questions in the chat too, because I like to do questions as we go. Impact versus intention. Oftentimes, the people that you're working with and or yourself, your intention is not to harm people. And sometimes that is your impact. So as leaders, generally, we have to be very careful with the way that we frame things and the way that we say things. And it is okay to apologize for the impact. Even if you're like, my intention was to be super nice. I'm that one friend that will tell my friend like the advice that they don't want to hear. And sometimes that can be super hurtful, right? And I'm sure some other people have experienced that, right? And that was not my intention, but that was my impact. And it's okay for me to it's okay for me to say like, hey, listen, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to show up in that way. How can I do better, right? If this harms you, right? How can I show up a little bit better? Now, people do not allow people to weaponize that, but that's something that we have to do as leaders. Sometimes we have to hear the very hard thing, and sometimes we're not going to agree, but it's still important.
That's rad.
And we have to recognize as humans, the way that we say things can sometimes impact people in a very, very negative way. Even if we go to like microaggressions and racism, right?
Microaggressions! No racism,
that's totally
guys.
100%. Like, this is the space we're in right now. We're in a very caring space. Not your intention, but it can definitely be your impact. Share.
Well, if I said that listening to this black lady was lowering my IQ, that would be a racism, right? That would be a racism and a microaggression. Uh-oh.
Power. That is
Gotta
hard.
go to
As a
sensitivity
micromanager
training.
person, it is super hard. And we pretend that we share power, but then we micromanage it all the way up to the top. Right? It could be very triggering, Leah, back to impact versus intention. Sharing power is not micromanaging, right? And we're going to watch a video in a minute. We're going to talk about how like being a leader can be kind of like overrated in a way, I guess. They utilize the words better than I do. Once you distribute power, more power comes, right?
I want everyone to keep in mind as we're watching this, this is what the organizers of the No Kings protest did nationally last week. The reason we're watching this leadership training right now is this is literally what the No Kings people watched last week. We are going inside their training. So if it seems like it's unrelated and they're not bringing up No Kings that much, just remember that this is what all of the organizers of No Kings nationally watched last week.
And then you distribute it, and then more power comes because you're empowering people and you are showing up for them. So they're going to want to show up for you, right? A lot of people, definitely like leaders of the protest, I know because as someone that has been organizing since Occupy, I know how some people look at me, right? Sometimes people put me on a pedestal that I do not want to be on, right? So when they feel me sharing that power back, they're like, oh, you trust me? And it's like, yeah, I trust you. You're going to make a mistake because I make mistakes, right? So sharing power, yes, there are a lot of right ways to do something. You'll often learn something along the way. That is something that I have to tell myself about my partner, that they may not make the bed how I like, but like, okay, the bed is made, right? Or you may not like the way that I load the dish, they load the dishwasher. Like all of these things are things we learn in our day-to-day life that we don't actually think about putting into leadership skills. We're just like, okay, we need to be front and center, get the work done. And that's not necessarily being a leader. I'm going to look at any questions that are in here. Is there a signal group? Not when I'm at work. Okay, so all these have been, any questions so far as we move through? Leadership is getting things done through other people. If you're micromanaging, you're not leading. Exactly. All right, let's keep it going. Corey, can you use space bar? Let's go into some definitions. A base or a core. When someone's like, you need to build your base. I remember hearing that. I'm like, what are they talking about, right? It is a group of dedicated individuals or organizations, typically forms the backbone of the movement. This core group is responsible for developing the initial framework, setting goals, and establishing the movement's values, vision, and mission. Leadership may be informal or formal, depending on the movement structure. The big thing I want you guys to recognize is the first sentence. A group of dedicated individuals or organizations typically forms the backbone of the movement. You guys are the No Kings base and core. So like we need you to expand your base and core, because remember that shared power, then that expands our base and core, and then we expand our movement overall. And I'm seeing something in the chat, Angie, make sure to drop that in Q&A because we can talk about that of like what you're having a hard time with. I really do want to discuss that. So that is your base and core. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Building power. I often hear we need to build power. Again, I was like, what do you mean, right? Like I went from protesting and sleeping outside at Occupy to sitting at tables with like giants. Like Kate downplays themselves. Absolutely amazing. They definitely helped me learn so much about my leadership, right? And sitting at a table with them during Amendment 4, which was like a initiative to get abortion back in Florida. I never thought I would be in that position. I never wanted to be an executive director. So I'd sit at these tables and they say these things and I wouldn't understand it. Now I do. So I'm telling you, building power means organizing activists aim to build power by increasing community participation, developing shared goals, and leveraging resources to influence decision makers.
Okay, so they're telling us exactly what their goal is with the protest. They're organizing activists, people who are going to show up to build power by increasing community participation. So that's going to be one of the goals of these protests and events and rallies, to increase community participation, developing shared goals, making sure everyone's on the same page, and leveraging resources to get people to do the things they want them to do. I know this seems simplistic, but the left does this proactively. The right does not do this proactively.
And then community organizing. This type of organizing involves building relationships and power within a community to address local problems and advocate for change. So community organizing builds power. Building power can be done by community organizing. Go ahead and go to the next slide.
No. The reason you're calling it a pyramid scheme is you're trying to dismiss it. That's what you're trying to do. Oh, so this is just a giant multi-level marketing scheme. No, it's not actually. Because what they're doing is destroying the very fabric of our society. So this is not a pyramid scheme. This is a highly effective way of organizing to gain power, to get what they want, which is to overthrow the system. So can we stop dismissing it and diminishing it by making comparisons that don't even make fucking sense, please? And by the way, there are people who literally become fucking millionaires because of a pyramid scheme. There are people who become phenomenally financially successful because of a pyramid scheme. So you guys like to dismiss it when in fact what you should be doing is taking it seriously.
Advocacy and action. Activists may use various strategies. So when they're like, oh, you need to participate in advocacy, and you're like, okay, I'm advocating for change and I'm protesting, right? Protesting and advocacy are kind of one and the same, right? Activists may use various strategies, including advocacy, influencing policy and action, protest and boycotts to achieve their goals. So advocacy is when you want to change something in policy, right? It might be that you don't want another data center or warehouse built in your area, data center because of the billionaires and the oligarchs, or the warehouse because of ICE, right? So you're advocating, right? You're trying to influence that not to happen. And in that, you may have to do an action, which is a protest and a boycott to achieve your goals. Movement building, which I think I just did kind of. A protest movement building is the process of organizing and mobilizing people to advocate for social, political, environmental change. It involves a series of strategic steps to bring awareness to a cause, rally support, and push for meaningful action. All of these are puzzle pieces: capacity building, movement building, base and core, and it's a lot. And I will say, like, Voices offers this training multiple times. You might get different things from it. This is a lot of information. But right now, I need you to focus on core, base and core, movement building, and community organizing. Go ahead and go to the next slide. How to build a movement. All right.
This is actually really helpful, honestly. I think this is a good training.
There we go. How to build a movement. One of the things that is define a clear purpose and mission. Right now, and with No Kings, our purpose is to push back against authoritarianism, right? Mm-hmm. But when you get to a micro level, one of the purposes, like in Florida, is like fighting against redistricting right now, right?
So real,
there are things that are impacting you on a local level that may not be impacting people on necessarily, I guess, a national level. Like what's impacting me in Florida is not necessarily impacting someone in New York, right? So while you are under this umbrella, also building community organizing, you can define a clear purpose and mission inside of that. Educate and raise awareness. A lot of times people don't know, some people are upset and they don't know why they're upset, right? They just know that they don't like something. And some people will, like, for instance, I know, will blame the federal government for something the state government's doing and vice versa. So like you need to educate them of why we're upset. Why are we mobilizing? What is happening, right? Don't make assumptions. And then you need to raise awareness, right? In that. We think about when we go out and we protest and like we are part of the No Kings rallies. What that does is it trickles into the media, which then trickles into what I call dinner table topics. And you're actually raising awareness every time you're out there with a sign. Or maybe, you know, a teenager is in the car with their parents and they're driving by. Like protesting is a way to raise awareness. Take action. You're already doing that. I don't think I have to go into that. Create a sense of community. right? Creative sense of community means like, don't silo yourself. Work with other community members. Maybe it's showing up for another group that like really needs your help because you actually, if you're doing the No Kings protest and you have been doing it since probably like hands off, and before that with 5051, if you are part of 5051, you have a big megaphone that you might not even realize you have that other people are dying for, right? So how are you working with your community, bringing your community in, listening, right? Listening, taking feedback, aligning, telling people you care about them, right? A lot of us do not even tell people within our spaces that we care about them. And sometimes it's like, well, they're new. I don't really know them. And it's like, you know, do you love them? Well, Sarah, like, I don't know them. And it's like, you have to operate in love again, right? And you can love them as a community member because you love your community. Be adaptable and resilient. That makes sense. Use social media.
Why? Do you not know the difference between a DEI training and a leadership training? This is a leadership training. DEI training is a completely different thing. It's like, they're not talking about race. They're not talking about gender. They're not talking about any of that stuff. This is a I continue to be convinced that the right doesn't have jobs, by the way, because like what you're seeing in this training is a pretty basic leadership training that probably most people, when they get into a position of leadership, should actually go through something like this. This is actually really helpful information. I think it's extremely dismissive to say this is DEI training. Like, this is a corporate training that teaches people how to be leaders. Well, then you're not getting DEI training, you're getting leadership training, and maybe you should stop calling it DEI training. I don't really know what to say, honestly.
Media and technology and build partnerships. All right, I'm looking to see if there's any questions. Okay, hold on. I do have a good question. Pamela said, can you clarify the difference between asking for communication and accountability and micromanaging? I think there's a lot of confusion about the difference between these things amongst volunteers, especially. Okay, asking for communication and accountability means, hey, I just want to know where
I used to do trainings very similar to this. Yeah, I've done a million leadership trainings that are very, very similar. I did a little bit different. Like, this is more focused on how do you lead within an activism environment? How do you lead within a political organization? So it's a little bit more specific to that. But yeah, this is a corporate leadership training. And by the way, it's not actually bad. The things that she's saying are good. If the conservatives were smart, what they would do is take this information and do it on their side. I haven't heard anything that I'm like, oh, that's really bad advice. This is all actually really good advice. This is giving us insight into how the left thinks and how the left organizes and the tactics that they're doing to bring people together to create these large-scale mass events. It's actually really good advice. If people on the right were smart, they would listen, take this information, do it on their side, but they won't because they're going to say, the left is doing it, so we can't do it because we don't want to be leftists. And so the left will be doing all the good things and the right will be whining and complaining about how they can't do the things they don't want to be leftists and blah, da, 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 da. And here we are.
I would say this, asking in curiosity rather than being like, hey, I know that I told you to do this and this didn't get done.
I shouldn't have taken my jacket down.
Why?
Big mistake.
Instead of being like, hey, I just want to know, did you get around to this? And I think just changing those little words turns it from communication and accountability to micromanaging them, right? Or like looking over their shoulder every single time they're doing it, and or not trusting them to get things done, or jumping in, which I tend to do, I will say, and jumping in and being like, no, don't do it this way. Do it this way. This is the way I need you to do it. And like, there might be 3 different ways to do something. So like, I think that maybe taking a step back to see, A, am I communicating in an effective way? And am I operating in curiosity? And then B, also being like, maybe also this person could be sensitive, right? And C, am I sharing power enough to let go of something, right? I hope that kind of answers it. Leah said, my schedule's open, disabled and home, so I have time and no one else does, even the leadership team. So it's hard for me to have them do things when half the info lives in my head and putting it down on paper would take me too long. How do I keep from doing this and making it easier to delegate? I wish Corey could get off of mute because they're not going to. But man, do how many ideas I know live in my head. I think that if you can break it down into, and again, I'm not the smartest person in the room, and you're going to find a way to make it work for you. I want to be clear. Like, take what you like, leave what you don't like. Maybe taking your ideas and putting them in micro pieces. And if you're disabled, maybe it's recording and transcribing your ideas and finding someone that can help you do that, which we're actually going to get into in a second, Leah. So we'll come back to that. I'm having a hard time giving assignments and not understanding how much info I need to give them. I think you have to give them enough info. So I work, that's a communication thing that I feel like I don't want to have to give you 100 things, like all this information, not in a way that I'm gatekeeping it, but if I have to give you all this information, then I feel like I might as well just go do it myself. And that's something I had to work on because how else are they going to learn? So I think to start with, depending if they're new, giving them as much information as you totally can for them to understand the assignment that needs to be done. And then also the assignments can't always live with you once you've expanded your group. Some of your groups probably only have 3 or 5 people, and then maybe there are a whole bunch of people in your chat or wherever that are like volunteers, and you only have 3 or 5 leadership. This is not going to happen overnight, y'all. Okay, you want to go ahead and go to the next slide?
Leadership from dancing.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore. It's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire.
I love
Now
this.
here's the
Actually,
second
this is
follower.
great.
This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done
Look at
well.
that guy.
Now it's not a lone nut and it's not 2 nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now.
And that is why the No Kings protests are so fucking important and so fucking successful. Because the No Kings stuff, guys, the leftist organizing stuff when Trump first took office started off as small. And then it grew, and it grew, and it grew, and it grew. And then you had 5 million people in the streets, and you had 7 million people in the streets, and those people are coming together to go to an event. And by the way, protests are fun to go to. Just so people understand. They're fun to go to. If you go to the No Kings protest with me this weekend, you'll figure that out. Protests are fun to go to. It's a social environment. It's people are having a good time. They're chanting their chants and they're doing stuff together and they feel part of this, part of a community. That's what this is. This is why they are effective. And they bring in more people every time, and that gets more people into other areas of activism. That creates more problems for the Trump administration. And this is why we do not have mass deportations.
They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is
momentum,
made.
Exactly.
So let's recap what
they
we've
have
learned.
it, we don't.
If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public. be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
Right on. I love it.
Corey, you can go next slide. Sorry, it was loud.
I love it. That's awesome, actually.
So, one thing is I love all the comments. I love how you guys are being in a community with each other, asking each other advice.
Yep.
And also, Patricia, yes, that's really bad capoeira.
Obviously.
And I love that someone said that they are the shirtless guy, and you're doing great, apparently. I love all of that. I like to put that video in there because I was like thinking, like, man, like how do I put what's in my head instead of just talking at someone and find a video for it? And I found this video and I was like, it's funny, but it's so real. Leadership is often overglorified. And this is kind of go into like what can harm a movement. And it's also like the next few people that follow you that really like, if they keep you in a leadership position, like that's where your power is going to derive from. The power by himself, it was just a random guy dancing. With all of those people, right? It was power, right? And power in a good way. And it was distributed power. People felt a part of it. People were laughing. People were smiling. Gina, yes, on this one it is. Normally I don't record it, but No Kings is recording it. So you're also going to get a recording, I believe. Kate can tell you in the chat if I'm wrong, but I do believe it. I definitely still encourage people to attend this training whenever it's offered again, or send your people, not just, you can send them the video, but not just send them the video so that they can communicate to you, right? So what can harm movements? There are a few things: ego, money, power, credit, and ecosystem disruption, right?
What do all those things have in common?
A lot of time.
Pop quiz for the chat. What do all of those things have in common? The left is talking about creating a collectivist movement. What do all of those things have in common? Things that can disrupt our collectivist movement. Hierarchy. I'm looking for a very specific word. Thank you, Reagan. Reagan got it. Reagan got it. Individualism. Individualism. Individualism is the enemy of collectivism. You cannot have capitalism without individualism, because capitalism is about the accumulation of personal private wealth based on the individual. Collectivism is about all the wealth being available to everyone collectively. The reason the left thinks that individualism is a form of white supremacy is that you cannot have capitalism, private property ownership, without the individual. This is about making people believe they need to subjugate themselves, get rid of their ego, give up their money, give up their power, give up the need to take credit. They need to subjugate themselves to the will of the collective movement in order to be effective. For my money, and again, I've done a lot of leadership training. I used to do leadership personality profiles. I would go through the psychology of leadership. I had a whole leadership training course. I had multiple leadership training course that I sold to organizations all over the country. And my leadership training course is fucking awesome. By the way, there's no one who did better leadership training than me. That's why I was successful at it. But I used to do this stuff. And one of the things that I will say is that you need to have an ego to be a leader. If you are constantly like the most effective leaders, the people who play that role well, have an ego. They believe that they are the right person to lead. If you are, and listen, there are some beautifully humble people in the world that are great at many things, that don't want to take credit for anything, that don't want eyes on them. Those people can be great at many things. They provide value in different ways, but they are not likely to be effective leaders, because in order to be an effective leader, you need to be able to say, I am the one that is worthy of being in this role and having people follow me. That requires ego. Whether people want to admit it or not, that requires ego. They're also like, the effective leaders tend to do have a, like, they like being in that sort of position. Maybe they're motivated by money, but usually it's more so something internal. They do want credit for the work they're doing because they're like, I did the work, I should get the credit for it. That is actually the part of the characteristics of an effective leader. Now, does that mean that they're going to be dicks? No, effective leaders are not dicks. Effective leaders want to bring other people along with them. But the thing that people need to understand is, like, people need someone in that leadership position. It's not even just, this is not just about the power and the glory of the leader. People need someone to follow. They need someone to provide that guidance, for someone to take the reins and say, we are going over here. It's like when you've been out with your friends, and maybe this is just a women thing. It's like when you've been out with your friends and you've got a group of women and everyone's like, we should go get drinks. And then everyone's like, oh yeah, where should we go? And then people might have some ideas, but no one actually just wants to take the lead to say, we're going over there now. And then what do? You stand around, you look at each other, no one knows what's going on. Everyone wants drinks, everyone wants alcohol, but no one is taking the lead to say, we're going over there. That is the role of a leader. And it's not just the person leading that needs that role. It's also the people in the group who want to be led, because many people do not want to be in that leadership position for some reason or another. They want someone else to lead them. They appreciate the guidance, they appreciate the direction, they appreciate that someone else has stepped up into that role. Both roles are necessary. Leadership is necessary and followers are necessary. But the bigger point I want to make is, in order to be an effective leader, you need to internally see yourself as, I am valuable in that role. I have something to offer this group of people. If you don't see yourself as someone who should be leading, you are not going to be an effective leader, and that is all related to your ego. And so maybe it's not a polite thing to say, maybe people don't want to hear it. The ego is not necessarily always bad. Sometimes it's what we need. Ben, thank you so much, bro. Appreciate that. Thank you. Add that to our channel membership goal because he asked me to. Because that's the way it goes sometimes.
It won't necessarily, it doesn't have to be the leader. It could be a volunteer that starts to feel either used or feel like they should be in a leadership position. Or it can be the leader where your ego gets a little too big for the room, right? Fear too. Fear can. Money. When money gets involved, it definitely changes the dynamic, very much so. I know starting a nonprofit I was really nervous because money was getting involved in Voices' work, and we had all done it for free. We were all volunteers, and I was becoming the executive director, meaning I was one of the first employees, and these were all my friends. It thankfully did not get super weird. But it could have, and I've seen that with groups, right? Or people mismanaging money. Power, when you do not do that shared power, people feel like they are either under you in a way that is not good by force, or they feel that you are just delegating to them, consistently delegating to them in a way that doesn't make them feel productive, empowered, and make them feel a part of community. Credit. A lot of people will be like, we'll go to a protest, and something I also I do this subconsciously. So I want to be clear on that, like intent versus impact. Sometimes I'll say, oh, I'm doing this thing, instead of saying, oh, Voices is doing this thing, or I'm doing this thing, instead of 5051 is doing this thing. It is completely just me not trying to take credit, but just me going really fast and not considering who can hear you say this, right?
I don't have to worry about that
hear you. Who may get harmed by that, right? And being like, well, I am also doing this thing, right? And ecosystem disruption. This is a fun one. Can anyone tell me in the chat what an ecosystem disruption is, or what you think it is? We, not I. Exactly, Arlene. What do you think an ecosystem disruption is? This one's a hard one. Sets you off. No idea. Train yourself to give credit. Infighting. Okay. Off kilter. Okay. Something from outside changing what you're doing. The Turk who destroyed an environmental group I was in. Patricia. Someone messing up the vibe. Breakup of your organization. Okay. I'm going to pause there. How many of you started organizing the last 365 days?
Yeah,
just for the first time, 365 days. I know some individual, me here, yes. Okay. Ecosystem disruptions can be good, and I'm going to preface that, and they can be bad. It depends on how it works. When you are a new organization and you're coming into your ecosystem, which is your community, and you don't have any relationships with your other organizations that have been on the ground, you have disrupted your ecosystem. And that's okay. A lot of times it needs to be disrupted, right? It's a matter of, are you assimilating? And when I say assimilating, that does not mean listening to other people, but are you building relationships, right, to work in the ecosystem together with other organizations, right? And I don't mean ecosystem disruption. It can be within your own group, but I mean as a community as a whole, like taking a step back and zooming in and zooming out. When you first came in there were already other organizations doing all of this work. And then you also got a light shined on you, which is great. We needed that, right? So how are we shining that light on other people that have been doing the work for multiple years? How are we building those relationships in your community? How are you bringing
Monty in with the $50 Rumble rant? Holy shit, let's throw this up on the screen and get a little bit of credit. There we go. I can't show Rumble chats on the screen all the time, but I can show them for a $50 Rumble rant. Thank you, Monty. I appreciate it. Let this go towards something expensive made of dead animal and Chinese made. Piss off every side. Godspeed. Keep up the great work. This one is turning out great. W's, Monty. W's for telling me to buy some knockoff goods from China. I will definitely do that, bro. Absolutely. After this win I had today with getting a $12,000 leather jacket for a couple $100 from China, and it's exactly the same fucking thing, I will be buying many, many, many goods from China from here on forward. It is a life-changing experience, and I really appreciate you facilitating my shopping habit, Monty. Hearts to you, W's to you. Thank you, thank you. All right, let's go back to our show.
all these people together since people's eyes are on you? How are, like, you are the new shiny object, right? So ecosystem disruption, if you don't make steps to build community and you don't make steps to make sure that you're working in community and building coalition, you can kind of take the oxygen out of the, yes, exactly, take the oxygen out of your community, right? And that goes into your ego, right? Like, I'm doing all of this work, or we're doing, you can say we're doing all of this work, and not actually taking the time to be like, who was here before me that was doing some work? Like, I saw a few protests. Let me go reach out to them. Let me see if I can work in community so that your because an ecosystem, if you think about it scientifically, the ecosystem all works together, right? Like, without flowers, there are no insects, right? I'm just utilizing this. I am not a scientist. And without insects, like, birds can't eat. If birds can't eat, other animals can't eat. And it just keeps going in a circle, right? You need to make sure you are a part of your community in a big level. And again, any questions, I'm looking at the chat, I'd like for comments, but any questions need to go into our Q&A, okay? Can I go ahead and go to the next slide, please? And thank you for the people that have written it out so far. We are hitting our hour mark. And hopefully we might actually be done in 30, 45 minutes, depending on questions. So capacity building. And I think we kind of talked about this briefly, but the process of developing and enhancing the abilities of individuals, organizations, and communities to achieve their goals and objectives. So when I talk about capacity building, it is the process of developing and enhancing the abilities of individuals, organization, communities to achieve their goals and objectives. But let's talk about that first line, the process of developing and enhancing the abilities of individuals, right? You can capacity build within your organization, within your chapter, within your group of friends that are doing the No Kings. Maybe, for instance, I'm not really great at making flyers. I was taught how to make flyers by my old co-ED, right? I may not be great. I have really bad grammar, y'all. I mean, really bad grammar. And by working with a press team, I've learned how to, my capacity has changed. I've learned how to actually write really good press statements, right? You can enhance the abilities of individuals. And also by utilizing that spotlight and being in community with other people, maybe it's your local La Migra watch, right? By like collaborating with them on Instagram or posting their stuff on Facebook, you're actually in a way could be capacity building. You're helping the community achieve their goals and objectives. Go ahead and go to the next one, please. And I'm going to do questions in a second.
What is community capacity building? Communities come in all shapes and sizes, from neighbourhoods, towns and villages, to groups who share a common interest, such as older people and minority groups. When people come together to form a community group or network, they bring with them a wide range of experiences, knowledge, skills, and resources, sometimes known as assets, which help them to address their shared issues and concerns. The extent to which they can do this is called community capacity. Communities with capacity can, for example, run clubs for events for social benefit and mutual support, manage their own community centres that offer social and learning activities, mount campaigns that address important issues, help inform and improve public services, and in some cases provide services which are for the people, by the people. A strong, vibrant community will have a range of groups and networks who work together with their wider community to tackle shared issues. The process usually involves finding out what issues really matter, what effect they have on the community, and how best to work towards shared solutions that benefit all. An important part of this process is supporting people to take part by removing barriers. For example, actively encouraging those who don't usually have a voice or who feel particularly excluded to take part, using straightforward language that people understand, or offering practical support like out-of-pocket expenses to attend or travel to meetings. Many communities, particularly those that face disadvantage, look for support to help increase their capacity, support that helps them to organise and to build on their existing strengths. The aim is to provide support so that communities are better able to achieve change. This support is called community capacity building. So what does it look like in practice? Organised communities will usually need resources in order to take action on issues.
Mutual aid.
This may be access to people, advice, information, buildings, equipment, or funds, for example. Communities may also need support to develop processes for collective action so that they can make sure they're inclusive, that they work together to represent their community.
I just want to point something out. Does this seem like someone who's mentally ill? Or does this seem like someone who is being highly strategic about what they're doing, thinking about how do we achieve big change by starting at the bottom, and what are all the different levels that we need to go through in order to achieve what we want, which is an entire community organized around the issues that we care about? Does this seem like someone that's mentally ill? Or does this seem like a highly strategic plan that allows them to go from point A to point B, as efficiently as possible? This, again, is one of the great lies the right tells themselves about the left. They're all mentally ill. No, they're not. Factually speaking, this is just an extremely intelligent way to go about it. They have a plan. They are highly strategic. They are not mentally ill. They are not crazy. This is not about narcissism. They are highly organized in what they are doing, and that's why we see these events just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Also, where the fuck is Tommy? We have a Scottish person doing a Scottish accent on the channel, and Tommy's not even in the chat. Way to drop the ball, bro.
and that they're better able to influence local decisions. Learning from and building on these processes is a vital step for communities in building their
just
own
commented.
capacity.
I missed that.
Many policies rely on strong communities. Some already exist, but others will require community capacity building support to play an equal part in shared decision making. Public bodies and grant making bodies have a responsibility to make sure that happens. They can do this by supporting community groups, particularly those that are disadvantaged or excluded, to develop their skills, confidence, resources, and influence that build their capacity. Community capacity building matters because it is ultimately community organisations that have the biggest stake in making a difference in their community. They are the community. If we want to improve the quality of life for our communities, then we must find ways to provide the support and resource needed for community groups and organisations to bring about the change they want to see. To find more about community capacity building, visit scdc.org.uk/.
You can go ahead. Okay. So I want to answer one question because I think that the community, well, I'm going to ask two questions. How is No Kings doing capacity building? Even right now in this moment, it's not a trick question. It's very simple. How in this moment is capacity being built right now at 8:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
Monty, I just saw you join the Rumble channel as well. Thank you so much for becoming a monthly supporter on Rumble. I really do appreciate that.
This meeting.
We'll add that to the channel.
I'm waiting for some more connecting people. Yep. Recruiting volunteers, new locations, all the posts on social media, inviting new leaders, Facebook, sharing experiences, trainings. Yep. Exactly. Partnerships, trainings. We're all doing it, right? And you probably didn't have how many of you had a word for what we were doing before just now? Teaching us new things. How many of you had a word for what we're doing? Not me, right? Scaffolding. Nope. Exactly. So we are capacity building right now in this moment. I'm even learning more about how in the questions in the chats, okay, these are questions, you're capacity building with me, because maybe some question that you put, I didn't actually think about, and I always change my trainings, low key. So I want to go to one of the questions in here. And the question is, hard to engage folks in my group. No one steps up, and other in my leadership group seem burnt out, not replying to Signal or email. There are a few things here, right? I think you could go back to leadership skill, but I think now that you're getting this training, right, and you really metabolize it, don't immediately jump off and go do this. My advice would be what do I need to do to make you more comfortable to come back? And sometimes we have to do that. I've had to do that on different occasions. Even in the last year, I've had to be okay, how can I make this a better space for you? And sometimes it's not within my means. Sometimes it's something I'm okay, that's not real. And other times I'm okay, we can do this. You don't have to beg. I didn't say beg. Listen, I'm a Scorpio. I never said beg. I said to ask them one question, and that goes to taking feedback. What can I do to make this space better for you to be able to productively work? Right now, we need each other in this moment. We need to mobilize as many people as we want because of what's happening. So asking that question, right? We're going to talk about I need volunteers. We're going to get all into that, y'all, because this is about absorption. Right now, we are on the organizing side. We're about to get into absorption. So my question is, before I get into it, are you organized? Is your infrastructure organized? Is your group organized? Do you believe that you are organized? Getting there, kind of, yes. Ooh, working on it.
That's awesome, bro. Keep it up.
We're in process. Yes. Somewhat. Okay, awesome. Now I'm going to get into the next slide, and we're going to find out. How many of you have that one person that hops into a chat with this grand idea? Not a bad idea, but this grand idea, and then nothing ever happens with it. Me, yes.
That never happens here. That never happens. I never have great ideas that nothing ever happens with.
Do not, and I'm going to say this because this is a public thing, do not go into detail of why or who.
By the way, speaking of great ideas that could potentially get lost, we really need to do that choose your own adventure thing that I mentioned the other day. What the fuck was I saying about that choose your own adventure thing? What was I saying we needed to do about the choose your own adventure thing? Someone please remind me, because this was one of my all-time greatest ideas. And I feel like it's like on the level of when I had the idea to write a book called Wild Antifa, in which I was dissecting Antifa as though I'm like on one of those nature shows where we're observing Antifa out in the wild and we're just dissecting the behavior of Antifa. I actually have the domain Wild Antifa because of that idea specifically. The Land of Retardia. Oh yeah, that's right. A fan fiction choose your own adventure through the Land of Retardia, where we keep adding more people. That is a fucking great idea, and that needs to happen at some point. That is a great idea.
None of that. What's your first reaction when they do that nowadays? What is your first reaction? Fury? Ugh, withdrawal, a big sigh. It makes me tired. Eye roll. Okay. I ask them if they can own it. I love that one. I'm the type of person, it's like, okay, would you like to own this? Right? Okay, yep, okay, y'all. I triggered some people in there. The chat's just going boom, boom, boom. Okay. They're the visionary. They're actually pretty important, right?
Also, just so everyone knows, I still haven't forgotten about that idea I had to do a War of the Worlds like thing where I'm doing like using AI to create some sort of radio broadcast where it's War of the Worlds, but it's like the communist revolution. And it's some sort of like pirate radio broadcast where like every single episode of the podcast is like where like it's like leading up to the communist overthrow of the government. Don't think I've forgotten about that idea either, because that is a fucking great idea to do our own War of the Worlds thing where we have our own like pirate radio thing where we're using AI to generate Comrade Wells. Exactly.
I'm a visionary. My team
I
hates
haven't
me
forgotten
sometimes.
about that idea either.
But these are all organizing personalities, and this is actually like scientific, and we're going to get into the scientific portion of this. But the visionaries are the people with ideas. The problem is oftentimes you have a visionary and you don't have a strategist. That means a person has an idea, and some of these people, I will say this, some people wear multiple hats, and I'll get into the ones that probably shouldn't wear multiple hats. And I'm not expecting you to have all of these people in your space immediately, but when we start looking for volunteers, you're going to start noticing this now, right? You need a visionary because they're the ones with the grand idea. The idea is great, right? But they don't actually know how to complete the idea sometimes, right?
Real.
And they can be a visionary and they can be a strategist. I tend to be both of those things. I am not a communicator. The strategist is the person that's like, okay, visionary, that is a great idea. Let's talk about how we're actually going to do this, right?
I need that.
And then you have a communicator. They're going to be the ones that go through.
I need that badly for the Center of Left-Wing Studies, which is why we need to be successful at this No Kings organizing thing, because here's my real vision for this, okay? We've been talking about doing this mapping the modern activist left thing for like almost a year now. Now, this is an incredibly complicated project. I've built some infrastructure to do this. People have worked on spreadsheets. We actually do have a lot of information in relation to mapping the modern left. But the problem is, it is such a big thing that it's almost overwhelming to an absurd degree. And that makes it more difficult to take it and put it together into a tangible thing. My thought process behind the No Kings infiltration and bringing people together to just collect data around one event is it's really just like an excellent launching phase for the mapping the modern left thing, because let's just say we can make a map of the No Kings protest and the far left infiltration of the No Kings protest. Let's just focus on one event. Let's just focus on that and make a map of here are the groups involved in the organizing of the No Kings protests all over the country. Here's their propaganda. Here are the far left groups that are showing up to recruit. Like if we can make a map of like, here is what the No Kings protests look all over the country, that in and of itself can help like at least provide some structure to start to build out the map in a more cohesive way. And we're going to get a fuck ton of data from this. And that is part of why I want to do this. And what I want to do is I want to use this and build this map to go out to say, hey, rich people, can you give us money to go do this? And then what I want to do is find a big fuck off grant somewhere or get a rich person to give me a lot of money, because the Center for Left-Wing Studies is a nonprofit. And so it's a tax deductible gift. And so I would like to raise, like, I don't know, like $1 million would be fucking great, actually. If I can get some rich person to give me like $1 million or get like $1 million grant to the Center for Left-Wing Studies, I can then hire people, and I can hire a strategist or potentially multiple strategists to help me take the vision I have in my head and put it into reality. That would actually be like my ideal goal. And of course, I will be hiring people from this community, because I will only be hiring people that I have trained to understand the left as we start to archive and bring all this information in and map it out. Like we've made a fuck ton of progress in the last year. It might seem like we haven't, but we have a fuck ton of data. We have more data last year than we had in the last year than we've had before that, like by far. And now what we need is to create a proof of concept with the mapping the modern left thing, something that I think is going to be highly impactful with this no king stuff. And we use that to go find a rich sugar daddy that will give me a lot of money and stay the fuck out of my way. Cause that's also going to be a condition here. I'm not taking direction from the people giving me money. I just need someone to write me a very big check so I can hire people, and they can take a nice tax deduction and they can feel good about what they're doing. And I'll report back to them every once in a while, say, hey, here's what's going on, bro. Can you give us some more money? Because we need to hire some more people to do X, Y, B, and Z. Like that is my ultimate vision here. And so the No Kings Infiltration is going to be like a really good first step. We already have people that are going to be going all over the country. Like I've been getting emails from people like for the last day. Like we have people going all over the country on this. And so I really do think we have an awesome opportunity to build a map of what this event looks like as a way to really say, here is what we are dealing with active far left groups right now in real time. And I think we have an opportunity to do that very quickly and effectively based on the information that we're all going to collect all over the country on Saturday. And that would be rad. And then if I can get people to give me money, that would be awesome. Tax deductible gifts. Yes, it will all be public. We're making all of it public. Everything the Center for Left-Wing Studies does is public. Everything we're doing is going to be public. The whole point, it's a nonprofit, bro. The whole point of the Center for Left-Wing Studies is to make this information available and usable for the public. It is for a public good. It is for a public service. Every single thing that I have will be made public at some point. It may not be immediately because we have a fuck ton of data. We have a crazy amount of data. Why would the map be live right now? The No Kings protest hasn't happened yet. The No Kings protest is on Saturday. Why would it be live right now? Hasn't happened yet. We don't have the data yet. But it will be public when we have it.
Communicate. Okay. The strategist told us, we're all on a call. Visionary has an idea. Strategist is like, okay, I have this plan. The communicator is going to go to all the people that may not be on like your Zoom. I'm just giving an example and be like, okay, we need this from you and this from you. This is what's happening. This is the overall plan. And here's the strategy. Now, oftentimes we'll notice that something might not be working. And the communicator can also be the innovator. They're like, wait a minute, I'm noticing as I communicate this isn't working actually. We need a good idea still. We might need to tweak that strategy a little bit. The strategist and the innovator can sometimes be the same person, but I would advise not. Because if you are a visionary and a strategist, you're not going to want to do it any different way than you already have it going on, right? Like you already have a plan, it's set. You need someone that's going to be like, I'm going to call you in and this isn't working, Sarah, because of X, Y, and Z. This isn't working because of capacity. We need to break these up into smaller things. This isn't working because of whatever. Then you have a project manager, right? That's the person that's like, okay, the communicator told all of you guys, I'm retelling each working group or each person, like this is what's going on. And then without micromanaging, checking in on them. And
totally want to do a zine for the Center of Left-Wing Studies at some point. I want the journal. I want to have a whole journal for the Center for Left-Wing Studies, and I want it to be in the form of a zine because I think that that's funny. We're
like,
definitely
hey,
going to do that.
by the way,
This is anyone else feeling motivated? I feel motivated. I've been like, I'm feeling motivated. Like the past couple months for me have been really weird. I feel like the anti-ICE organizing like really took it out of me. I was doing so much fucking coverage that I feel like my brain went dead. And then I went into shopping rabbit hole on Whatnot for like a month, and I bought a bunch of shit I didn't need, but that I really love and that makes my life substantially better. And I feel like we're back. I feel like we've entered Aries season. I'm feeling energized again. I'm like, yeah, we can do all this fucking cool shit. We have all the resources we need to do all this cool shit. We have all the resources to put this together that no one else on the internet has. We have an awesome community of people who are really excited about it. Like, I'm feeling energized. I took the scenic route for a second. I went down Whatnot Boulevard. I basically went to an outlet mall for about a month and a half. I went to the outlet mall, and listen, if you've ever been to a good outlet mall, you can understand how you might want to spend a lot of time at the outlet mall because it was Pisces time, okay, Reagan? It was fucking Pisces time. Pisces sucks. You know how I feel about Pisces. They fucking ruin everything. And so now we're in Aries season, and it's much better, and I feel much better, and I look much better, just coincidentally. I'm sure that has nothing to do with nothing. And so now we're back. We're back. We took the scenic route. We're back. What, not anality? Okay.
Do we really need it? That we need this? Like, where are you on this? Like, how's your project going? Always come at curiosity of like, we need this. This is due. When they're volunteers, like, first off, if I'm volunteer, you can talk to me like that, right? But when you're a volunteer, it's hard to be like, this is due versus, hey, this is when we need this by this date. Can you complete this? Yes. Awesome. Checking back in a curious way. Hey, how's it going?
Pisces.
Do you need help?
Wow.
Do you think you'll be able to complete in the timeline? The doer is the one.
If you only knew the things I have endured at the hands of Pisces. If you only knew. You only fucking knew.
Worker bee, that is the most important, one of the most important people, and the lurkers, believe it or not, and I'll tell you why. One of the most important people, and I feel like when I say worker bee, it feels demeaning, and that's not right. Those are the people that are like, give me the idea, give me the strategist, and I'm going to push it out right now. I can turn it around in less than 48 hours, something crazy like that, right? You need people that are going to do the work. The lurkers. Some people dislike those people, but they're important because of burnout, right? While all these top people are working, the lurkers are the ones that are going to like pop up, and they're randomly like, hey, I actually can do this as long as there's follow through. And then they disappear for a week or two, and then they're like, where are they? Right? Where did Sarah go? And then I'm like, some other task comes up. Hey, does anyone want to do this? And they're like, hey, actually, yeah, I'll do this. And they disappear again, and they come back. So with that, and Bethany, I think you beat me to it. Which one are you? And I'm going to answer the questions in
all
1 second.
I'm everyone.
Which one are you?
All of them.
Are you a visionary? Are you a strategist, communicator? I know I'm a visionary and a strategist, and sometimes a worker bee. The communicator, strategist, project manager. I end up doing all of them, and it's frustrating. Yeah, it's not possible. Yeah, like it's too much.
Don't tell me what's possible,
we're talking
bitch.
about that. Visionary, strategist, project manager, visionary. Oh, look at all the visionaries in there. They were like, don't talk about me. Visionary and communicator. I wish I had that. I love this. We all do too much. Yes, we all do too much. So in your team, which one are you missing? Which one do you think you're missing? Which one do you think you're missing? The doer, the strategist, missing worker bees, manage, workers, the lurkers right now, innovators, worker bees, workers, communicators. Okay. All right. Write that down for yourself. Like write that down somewhere for yourself. Okay. And we're going to go to the next slide. We're going to talk about the science behind this. This is not just someone like Sarah is not just, okay, I have ADHD, so I'm a little messy, but like Sarah's not just messy. My left brain and my right brain might work a little different. Your visionary might not just be like, I'm doing this on purpose. It's left brain and right brain. Yep, good old left brain versus right brain. Exactly. It is the confirmation bias of the training of like me telling you something and then showing you proof of the something I'm telling you, right? The left brain is logical, analytical, linear, verbal, factual, sequential. These people are usually your project managers, right? Sometimes your worker bees, and obviously people use both sides of their brain, right? These are your strategists, right? While also your strategists can also be on the right side of the brain, and your innovators, creative, intuitive, artistic, nonverbal, emotional, imaginative, right? These people are the ones that have all their ideas in their head, right? And they don't know how to actually logically put it down. So they need help to be able to make the idea in their head work, because we all know it is a good idea. I'm high left brain. I'm bipolar, June. I'm a lefty. Okay. So it's left brain versus right brain. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. Okay. Now we're going to run through this, and then I'm going to ask you. Organizing teams. You have your organizing and action group. I think that speaks for itself. Your recruitment and absorption team. 9 times out of 10, when we're talking about burnout and the comments I'm seeing in the chat, is that you don't necessarily, and I'm making an assumption, you don't necessarily have your recruitment and absorption team. Your digital media team, your social media team, your press, coalition builders, fundraising, if you do that, and conflict resolution team, which a lot of people do not actually do. And that's important because there will always be interpersonal dynamics. You're not always going to get along with everyone in your team. That is a dream, to be able to have that, and you have to build relationships, and personality clashes will 9 times out of 10 happen. So you're organizing an action group. They're the ones planning the no king stuff. Now they may fall into your press, your social media, planning marches, your safety. Your recruitment and absorption team. How many of you have that one person that comes up to you every protest and they just like to talk? They love to talk, like all the time. Like the moment you get there, they just want to talk your ear off. And like you have 100 things going on, right? How many of you actually experience that? Yep, Leah said. Yep, Mark said. Yes, Marcia said. Yep. I put that guy to work. That's smart. Yes. Oh my God, yes. You need to recruit them, because 9 times out of 10, they want to do something, right? If they have the capacity, and they're the ones that might actually do a lot of work when they go in there, even if they are like not necessarily your cup of tea. And they're also the ones that can recruit more people because they like to talk. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but in general, for me, like our recruitment and absorption team is actually our digital media person. She loves to talk. And 9 times, I'm the type of person where, like, when I'm into the work or I'm out in a protest, like I'm trying to get the work done. And like she's set up at a table and I'll be like, that is really great. You should go talk to Helen about this. And they'll be like, great, I'm going to go talk to Helen about this. He's a part of another group. I can't steal him. That's fair. People can be a part of multiple groups. So your recruitment absorption team is really what we're about to get into. And your coalition builders are people that are going to build relationships. They're the ones that are like pretty level-headed. They're the ones that can also mitigate and deal with conflicts with other organizations. They're the ones that have the time and availability.
This is so true. The left is so good at conflict resolution. It is not that the left always agrees. The left does not always agree. It is not that they always get along. They do not always get along, but they are so much better at conflict resolution. Whereas on the right, if someone disagrees with you, they try to destroy you, humiliate you, defame you, smear you. They release disgusting things to just try to get you to shut up. Does everyone remember when this happened to Corey DeAngelis? Does everyone remember when Corey DeAngelis was doing some school choice thing in Texas, and it was a conservative group? It wasn't even a leftist group. It was a conservative group that got pissed off. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember a conservative group got pissed off at Corey DeAngelis, who has been a consummate advocate for school choice for years and years and years. I don't agree with him on everything. I don't like some of the people he's friends with, but he does good work. Corey DeAngelis does good work and has been a tireless advocate for school choice, actually getting money directly to parents, directly to kids. And he pissed off some conservative group in Texas because he wouldn't say the things they wanted him to say. And in return, the conservative group in Texas released that Corey DeAngelis was a porn star when he was in college and pics of his dick all over the internet. So it wasn't that, hey, can we have a conversation to talk about our disagreements and where we might align and how we can play nicely with each other? It was, the conservative group saying, oh, Corey, you don't want to do what we want you to do? I'm going to release naked pictures of you all over the internet and tell everyone that you were a porn star in college. They do this shit all the time. Look what they're doing to Megyn Kelly right now. Look what they're doing to Tucker Carlson. Look what they're doing to anyone that doesn't support the war in Iran. They're all of a sudden, I got told today I'm funded by the IRGC. I don't even fucking know what the IRGC is. They do this all the time. The right now isn't even attacking the left. Have you guys noticed this? The right isn't even going after the left. They're just infighting among themselves. And every time you say someone disagrees with, there's no intellectual argument. There is zero intellectual argument. There's no discussion of ideas. There's no intellectual debate. It's always, you're a pedophile and a communist and we hate you and you have stupid hair. And here's an embarrassing thing you did 20 years ago that we're going to throw in your face because you said something we don't like on the internet. It is mind-boggling. It's truly fucking mind-boggling.
Need to go have coffee with other organizations. It doesn't always have to be the leader that does that. A lot of times it does wind up being like the leader. But these people are the ones that build coalitions and build partnerships. And I think press, social media, and digital media all kind of talk the same. Now, your conflict resolution team is that one person in the group that can like hear both sides and work in a non-biased way and try to make sure that there's a solution there. Again, that could be your leader. For me, sometimes I step out of stuff and I let my deputy director take care of it because sometimes I can be very blunt and that doesn't necessarily work. Exactly. It's nice to have some extroverts. People think that I'm extrovert. I'm actually like an introvert extrovert. There's a whole word for that. I'm not very extroverted, even though I'm on this training talking to you guys. Blunt doesn't work. Yeah, sometimes blunt does not work, Mark, unfortunately. I've had to learn that in the hard way. All right, go ahead and go to the next slide, please. So the bare bones of organizing is having teams, processes, norms and values, assignments, meetings, voting, and cross-team collaboration. Do you guys know what norms and values are? Can you tell me in the chat? And I'm so proud of the people that are staying with us. I know that it's like, it is over the normal hour for a No Kings training. Do you know what norms and values are? Norms and values. Our rules of the road. I love this, I'll stay forever. I love that. Beliefs of a group, kind of like agreed rules, standards of behavior. Okay. They're agreed community rules. So one thing that people tend to do is just come up with like a list of 3 or 4 norms or values. But what I would encourage you to do is that when you, like maybe it's per quarter, maybe it's per year. For us in Voices, it tends to be per year unless something happens, where you let all your team members buy in, right? And buying in makes them feel like they own something. And it's like, what norms and values do you think the space is missing? What would you like to add? You know, because they're also seeing it from a different way.
You're right.
So norms and values are incredibly important. Impact over intent, right? Your impact, like that's a big thing. Sometimes you have to apologize for your impact versus your intention. Call people in, not out. And there's a question I saw that I'm going to answer shortly about, I can actually answer now, about how do you tell people in leadership that are micromanaging, but you don't want to tell, and they said in secretive. Let's not use the word secret because like that implies sometimes something negative, but like, how do you tell, I'll say it like this, how do you tell, call someone in? How do you call someone in? And that is to, maybe it's pulling them to a sidebar and being like, hey, I know this isn't your intention, right? This isn't your intention, but this is your impact that I'm kind of seeing. And like, you might be and like, I would try not to use that word. Do you come at it from a curious point, right? Like, do you think that there's another way that we can communicate that we need these deadlines done, right? And kind of giving them the ball back into their court, right? So intent versus impact. And recognizing, okay, that might not be their intention to micromanage, but the reality is it is their impact. Teams, obviously that makes sense. Your digital team, your safety team, y'all been doing this for a hot minute. I think y'all got that. Processes, a lot of people forget these things. How is one decision made and how does it go through your funnel, right? Like if we make a decision to do a project, right? How does the digital media team do it? Where does it have to go through back for approval, right? Who gets to own that, right? If I have an idea and I'm a new volunteer and I really want to do this thing, what is the process to do that, right? And with that, are you voting, right? That goes back to that shared power. Oftentimes as leaders, you create a hierarchy, and if that's how you want to operate, that's totally okay too, right? I have a hierarchy, flat hierarchy when it comes to voices, but my team can outvote me. Now I can kind of be like red line or no, we're not going to do it this way. But I try not.
You guys can never outvote me. I don't care how many people you get together. I don't care what fucking meeting you have to say, Karlyn, this is a bad idea. You just to be very, I just want to be very clear and transparent. There is no reality in which you guys are ever outvoting me at all. You want the link to the video? There you go.
Right? So a process, if someone has a really good idea, creating a process for them to submit that idea, right? Without steamrolling them or making them feel like their idea is not good. And you could also have people vote on an idea. So what is your processes, right? Assignments. It needs to be very clear on who owns what. And a lot of times I don't see that. So like if you are a digital, this is our—
That's not to say you guys can't make a case to me. People make arguments for me all the time. Like people make intelligent arguments all the time. And sometimes I am convinced by those arguments. But at the end of the day, like, I might not be convinced too. And if I'm not convinced, it's the way it's going to be. I'm going to, someone please, I'm going to put the link to the Discord out now if people aren't in it. So
digital team. This is where this assignment lives, or this is Sarah, and
Yeah.
Sarah's owning this assignment. So when someone's looking for a piece to the puzzle, because you're all working on different pieces, you know exactly who is assigned to. Meetings. I think I hope to God you guys have meetings. Having regular meetings, not just when No Kings is around, but community meetings is something that, you know, we're going to talk about next steps between this No Kings and the gap, right? So like what next steps are, right? So having community meetings is incredibly important. Having meetings with your team is incredibly important because you don't want people to burn out, get absorbed by someone else, which is okay, but also like you'll lose teams. And you want people, you can do projects in between hands. And cross-team collaboration, making sure your teams are talking to each other and collaborating. Oh my God, someone's saying congratulations. Our first one is the 7th. I love that. I love that. Congratulations. Good. All right, can we go to the next slide? So we're going to take 5 minutes and we're going to do an exercise.
exercise.
Who are your people, right? And I think we kind of did this. What would you identify them as? You do not have to share this. So
I'm
like
going to fast forward. We don't need to sit
reflect
through the fucking exercise. We really don't need to sit through this. They're doing an exercise. I want to get to the questions. Okay.
Doing a good job. That would be super awesome. Thank you. Love that. Love that. All right. So we have some questions. I'm not going to.
Okay, we're going to get into the Q&A portion now, which is awesome. I just want to do a quick pause to remind people that we have movie night in the supporter Discord starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Monday movie nights are hosted by Mac B. Tonight we're watching The Interview, I think, which is that movie about North Korea. And it was really controversial. I've actually never seen it, so maybe I'll stop by and watch a little bit of it. But if you are a new channel member or if you are a supporter on my Substack, and if you're a supporter elsewhere, I can post the link too. But most people either support me as a YouTube channel member or on Substack, or we're gifted a membership or something like that. I have just posted the link to the supporter Discord out to YouTube channel members. We do have 120 plus new members of the channel today. So if you are a new channel member, what you want to do is you want to go to my channel homepage. You want to click on the post tab, and for members only, at the very top of the post tab, you will see the post with the link to the supporter Discord. Go get yourself into it. You have to get verified. So just chat into the verification channel and let me know who you are, and I will verify you in the chat. And so then you can come and join us for movie nights on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. and on Monday nights at 9 p.m. We are moving into my Aries April, which I get to choose all the movies on Sunday nights in April because it's my month of narcissism, and that's just the way it goes. And so even though actually this week Jennifer's doing some Nazis in space movie on Sunday, which I'm actually looking forward to. Maybe we should invite Amalek to movie night. because we're watching some Nazis in space movie on Sunday, and then we move into Aries April, and then Mac B always does movie nights on Monday, and he does a great job, and I want to encourage everyone to do that. So if you want to join us tonight, you can find it on the channel homepage, or you can find it in the chat on Substack, or if you need it in another location, just let me know and I will put it there. If you're a supporter somewhere else, that's totally fine. You can support wherever you like, and I do appreciate everyone who supports my work, but I have posted it out for all the new YouTube channel members and Substack supporters and stuff like that. I do hope to see you guys in the Discord later. Movie nights are super fun. They're a nice way to relax, meet other people in the community. And again, we're doing it at 9 p.m. tonight, so I hope you'll be able to join us. Yo, Kimmy! Kimmy just gifted 5 channel memberships over on Rumble. W's to Kimmy. We really appreciate that. Thank you, Kimmy, for gifting 5 channel memberships on Rumble.
Be able to answer all of these questions, but I will try to answer a few of them. I think I did answer Wendy's question. It's a feeling I have, and I found I wasn't wrong, but it's too late to rescue the original purpose. Feel like leaders and co-leaders. So I think calling them in, and like, you can always.
I just want to get to the Q&A. I don't care about this. Q&A, please.
So while staying invisible, want to demonstrate but hide location and time to select few, and want even if you're the last person standing, you can use a lot of introspection and you can rebuild. Okay. You can always rebuild. Hard. Oh, thank you guys. I'm reading the things. It's really nice. Hard to engage folks in groups when no one steps up. I think I did that one. How to deal with those who want to make an impact while staying invisible, want to demonstrate but hide location and time to select few, and want others to also stay hidden, misaligned goals and means. I'm not quite sure what that question means, John.
Is this a far left radical channel or what? Well, you had 5 minutes from the time you subscribe to the channel to read the description of the video you're watching, to go to any of the websites, to look at the description of the channel, to do basic research on who I am. You had 5 minutes. You had to wait 5 minutes before you chatted in, bro. And so I guess I'm a little confused about why you subscribed to something when you didn't know what it was.
So you might have to give me more information. I don't have to read it all the way out loud.
You read the title of the
I'll dismiss the question so no one sees it, but
that was an option. That was
Pamela,
an option.
Dim leader in a Ruby Red area, had lots of new spaces at last No Kings. Okay, I just read that. Pam, we're gonna actually get into that in a second. I hope I can call you Pam. Jim, we have thought leaders and work it on the leadership team and they roll it out. Okay. A member kept critical data to themselves and would not give all the necessary data to a new person. I'm not really equipped to answer that, but I will say OPSEC, which is operative security, is incredibly important. There are things like 1Pass that you can utilize that way that person doesn't necessarily have to share the password. That kind of gets a little sticky. So I cannot necessarily answer that. And I think if that's the case, then maybe that person has to find at least 1 or 2 other people that they trust. And your worker bees can be the person that do digital or that admin the actual Facebook group. And that doesn't mean that you have to have access. So I don't know how to answer that because I don't really understand why they're doing that, but there could be good reasons. A goalless attendee checking out the scene. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, y'all are killing me with the questions in a good way. Sorry, I probably started kind of written this whole trying there. Leah, I can't answer that either because I'm not sure how to handle that. I'm in a completely red area. It really depends. Is a lurker and visionary combo common? Yes. And also a visionary can turn into a lurker if we don't have a strategist to help them follow things through. So yes, in my opinion, yes. Okay, I'm going to, what can we do to protect individuals who are posting for us on social media? I mean, I think that it's fine because normally you can't see who owns the page. You can make it anonymous to who owns the page. As far as protecting them goes, we do have.
You know what we should do? We're going to add this idea to the list. Well, we kind of started doing this but not really. We didn't really start doing it. I kind of started fucking around with some stuff on this. I want to do a project with the Center for Left-Wing Studies that I have literally named The List. And basically, I want to make a giant list of leftist activists all over the country and what they do and who they are and all this stuff. Like, I actually want to like put their names on the fucking list. And I started really big with this list, and I was just started making a list of everyone I could think of that was important, and just started like I just started like putting their names on there just like when I thought of them or something like that. Maybe instead what we should be doing is making lists about events or organizations specifically. What do I mean by that? Why don't we make a list of everyone who works for Indivisible based on public information and LinkedIn profiles and stuff like that? And we make an entire dossier of people that you can go to like the Indivisible page and see, here is who is doing Indivisible social media. And it comes up with some names, and their names are just on a list. Now, I think the best part of the idea of the list is not necessarily that stuff will get done with it, but that it's really gonna fucking piss off the left. It's if we just take publicly available information and we just like condense it into a single web page where we're like, here is the list for Indivisible. Yeah, here is the list for BLM in schools. Here is the list for all these organizations. Just the fact that they have their names on the list is going to freak people the fuck out. See, ideas have to evolve. Sometimes I try something and I fuck around with something for a little while, and then I need to let it sit, and the idea needs to percolate. The idea needs to marinate, and then the idea grows and it becomes something else, and it gets more specific. This is my process. This is my creative process. It's the way it goes.
Other training about that, so I think
The list has
Kate
a
can drop
sick logo,
information in the chat, and you'll see that in our other trainings. Okay, this process has been likened to flying an airplane while you're building it. Literally what I said for the first 365 days of participating in 5051. The training's going to help us greatly. Thank you so much. And okay, awesome. All right, cool. I'm going to keep moving. Got to drop. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah. This is the logo for the list. I actually started fucking around with this. I actually started making a whole website. You can see this. I literally just started organizing by people, by groups, by unions. Look at all those fucking unions. By publish. I actually was putting effort into this for like a minute, and we were just gonna build out a giant fuck off list. And it's like literally called The List. It's actually a real thing.
Absorption. Absorption organizing refers to two distinct concepts: the strategic systematic integration of new people into a movement to increase capacity. How many people knew what absorption was? When you got on this training, you're like, okay, I'm going to do organizing and absorption training. How many people knew? Nope, no idea. No clue. And so movement academia is hard, right? Like I call it movement academia. Like people, sometimes as a leader, like I even forget when I say things like, let's do a step back, or we need to movement build, or how are we absorbing people? And it can get kind of confusing because like you may not know that. It's a whole language of itself, right? Like how many of you guys knew that there was like movement academia? Like absorption, capacity, all of those things? Nope. LOL. Nope. Right? There's literal movement academia. It's like speaking a different language in some ways, right? Not really, right? Awesome. I didn't. Cool. So we're going to talk about absorption, which means strategically and systematic integration of new people into a movement to increase capacity. We need new people. How many people need more people right now to help them continue to organize successfully?
Me.
How many people? I hope everyone is in that group saying yes, because we want to build more people all the time. We want as many people as possible mobilizing on March 28th and after. Absolutely. Love that. Exactly. Yes, we need more people. Shared power is good power. And also, we don't want people to get burnt out. And many hands, when I was a kid growing up in South Carolina and Georgia, many hands make light work. I survived by Southern euphemisms. Can we go to the next slide? Absorption. Engage activate, onboard, cultivate, and retain. Okay? Engage, activate, onboard, cultivate, and retain. Go to the next slide. These are your 5 steps.
Ooh, a video. Act up.
Recruiting
Fight back.
volunteers can be a
Fight
difficult
it.
task. That's why today, Source Academy will provide you with some tips on how to effectively recruit and retain volunteers.
Oh, good. I need this.
The first step in recruiting is to determine the key areas where volunteer work is required. It's important to establish clear responsibilities for your future volunteers.
I need you guys to get up early on Saturday and put on a normal looking outfit of jeans and a t-shirt and a hoodie and maybe a jacket or a hat or maybe sunglasses. I need you to look fucking normal though. I need you to bring a bag with you and I need you to go to the No Kings protest and I need you to collect communist propaganda for me. So who's on board? Who's on board? One in the chat if you're on board with volunteering for my effort on Saturday to go look normal at the No Kings protest and collect leftist propaganda for me. How many people are on board? 1 in the chat if you're on board, 2 in the chat if you think that sounds like a dumb idea. See, I know what I need my volunteers to do.
Volunteers that feel their work is necessary will be more satisfied and likely to continue working with you. Next, you want to figure out what type of volunteers will be the best fit for your tasks at hand. You know what you need help with. Now you want to determine the types of people who could perform in those areas well. Teenagers, college students, retirees, someone with a background in education, you want to target people who would be a good match for your organization. Now you want to think about what kind of experience you can give volunteers. Brainstorm what makes the volunteer experience at your nonprofit unique and special. Oftentimes, a reward system will help motivate your volunteers. Demonstrate the exact requirements for volunteers and what they will get.
Okay, here is the reward for going and doing the thing at the No Kings protest that I want you to do. If you provide me with intel that is informative and interesting, or even if you just make an effort, maybe you go to a local small No Kings protest and maybe there's just nothing there, that could happen. But you make an effort and you go and you try. If you do these things, then I will appreciate you and love on you and all this stuff, and you will gain status in the community. People who actually do shit in the community are more important to me than people who don't do shit. And I tend to be much nicer to people who actually go and do stuff. You can get away with things in the chat. You can get away with almost anything in the chat if you are doing things that are helpful to me. I don't yell at you. I don't make fun of you. I don't, unless you want me to, because sometimes you guys want me to, because that's just a fetish that some of you guys have. But like, if you go and do things that are helpful to me, I will basically treat you like a god, and you will have status in the community, and you can kind of say and do whatever the fuck you want, and you won't get yelled at unless you want to be.
From volunteering at your organization to encourage the right people to volunteer. Finally, you want to think of ways to effectively reach out to your ideal volunteers. For example, if you want to recruit college students, you might try a Facebook campaign. But if you want to recruit retirees, a direct mail campaign would work best. You could also create partnerships with schools and churches in the area to create a steady flow of volunteers. Be sure to subscribe to our channel.
That was a good exercise. All right.
So one of the things is that when you're talking to people, and we'll kind of go into that a little bit more when we're talking about signing up. When you're talking to people, if you realize that a teacher wants to volunteer, you're thinking about, I need an innovator, strategist, a worker bee. I need someone for digital. I need someone for press. You know what? Our press person is really good,
true.
But they're like Sarah and their grammar sucks. That teacher is exactly what you need to fix it. So you don't have someone going back and fixing it that is not on your press team, right? So like finding out what people's qualities are by conversating with them, right? Engaging them, right? The moment that they get to your protest and they have a sign, they're engaged. The moment that you start to absorb them and you have a sign-up sheet, now there's a couple things you can do. Tables with sign-up sheets, QR codes, and we'll get into that. But the moment you sign them up, you have engaged them. You've talked to them. You have a Helen sitting there that can talk for hours about things. You've talked to them. You've figured out like what, why they're there, and you sign them up. They're on your little sheet. Now I want to be really clear. When you sign people up, you are super responsible for their personal information. you need to make sure whoever is responsible understands that that is a heavy and very, very, very important task. Go ahead to the next one. Thank you, Kathleen. Activate. I believe you only, in my opinion, you only have about 48 to 72 hours to activate them. That means once they sign that sheet, you have 48 to 72 hours to send them an email, thank them, schedule a time, invite them to your next meeting, invite them to your next Zoom meeting.
I second that.
And that, or I would say vet them probably first of like, hey, we know you're interested. We would love to talk to you. And maybe it's having a Zoom that's specifically for all these new volunteers to like, make sure they are who they say they are. Make sure they're like, they have like the same thought process or ideologies that you do, right? It's a big tent movement. So some people, you know, may not always agree fully with what you're aligned with, and they have to somewhat work inside of this group that are super aligned. So activate them, send them an email, thank them for coming out, maybe give them a link to the next Zoom meeting, tell them when the next community meeting is, and make sure that you're vetting them. Next slide. Onboard them. Onboarding them is bringing them in, okay? They showed up, they responded, I want to get involved. I'm super excited. I want to join this group. You've been doing amazing work. Onboarding them is also, again, vetting them, getting them into the spaces that they need to get into, introducing them to all the different working groups, your community norms and values, letting them know, like, again, big thing is like, hey, these are community norms and values when you're in our space. Here are the people that you talk to. Here are the processes. If you have an idea, here's really where we need help. Right? So onboard them. So you have to activate, they're already activated, or engage them when they're there. They're already engaged. Activate them, email them, 48 to 72 hours, onboard them, bring them in. Within 7 days, they should be brought in, right? They should be vetted and brought into your space in whatever capacity that they can be a part of. Maybe they're saying, hey, listen, I can only bring some water once in a while. That's totally fine. We all need water at protest. I know that we always like water at protest. This is a lot of work, Beth. It is 100% a lot of work. I am not saying it is not. And also, you're not going to get it immediately. I would say pick 1 or 2 things you learned from this training and then start utilizing it. And then once you get that done, pick another 1 or 2 things, right?
Yep.
Next slide.
Good tip. Fake
Cultivate.
name, fake email.
That means teach them. Maybe they're like, you know what? I've never actually done press and I'm kind of scared, but I do kind of want to speak on this issue. Having your press person teach them how to speak, right? Spokespeople are super important. And like, you know, I think about the ethos of that, which is like the credibility. Like you, maybe you as a leader can speak about a lot of issues, but if you have a teacher that's also a leader who isn't anonymous, who doesn't mind speaking, and there's something happening at a local school, they're probably going to be the best spokesperson for that, right? As a Black woman, like, my white counterparts might not be the best person to speak on a Black issue, right? So like that, I need to be trained and able to actually do that if I want to, right? Or it's, hey, I've never actually done safety, but I really want to learn. Well, that's great. Go to the next No Kings protest. You're cultivating them. You are building capacity, right? The next one, retain. Actually keeping them. And how do you do that? Remember, everything's a puzzle piece. You keep them by creating a community, creating a sense of community, sharing power, making sure they feel welcomed, making sure they feel like they're actually doing something and they can actually throw down with you, right? They can actually own the space with you, right? They can actually be a part of something that's bigger than them. And also like talking to them, asking them how they feel, checking in with them as they start to assimilate into your group, asking them if they have any ideas. Go ahead into the next slide. So what's one thing you need help with? And I don't mean the visionary, let's go ahead and put that to the side. Right now in your group, what is one thing you need help with? Is it, I need more safety marshals, or I need more people that can organize routes. I need more people that can work tables. I need more people that can do recruitment. What do you need help with? Media lead, recruitment, marshals, onboarding, more safety, press, crew recruitment. Okay. So you guys know what you need. And you can really kind of ignore number 2. This is a question in your head. Like, why, how do you keep your people more engaged, and how, like, one of the reasons that you might not have been able to retain or get volunteers, and that could just be a simple thing where you're not absorbing people. You don't have a sign-up sheet. You don't have a process to absorb people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask
So
you
real,
now,
Reagan. So
and this is
real.
the question. With
So
everything I told you, if you
true.
remember, we started with the first question, which is, are you organized? With everything I told you, do you feel organized, or do you feel, right? I want you to leave positive. Do you feel like you have more tools to be able to become more organized? Because a lot of people are like, I'm kind of feel organized, not really. So do you feel that you are already organized, and or do you feel that you have more tools now to be organized and organize better? I'm 40% organized. I have tools now, right? Room to improve. Love that. This has been helpful. Good. More tools to become better. Organized, but not always efficiently. You're welcome. Thank you. Awesome. We're on the way. Exactly. We're building a house. We have to have the tools to build a house, right? And like, I am, as a leader, I still literally learn every single day. I think about all the different national partners in the No Kings movement that I lean on, right? I'm like, okay, I went from a statewide organizer to a national organizer. Like, I need help. I don't know how to do this thing, right? I lean on people that came before me, and I lean on people that are coming now, because all these people, I've been doing this for over a decade, they have really good ideas. And like, I need to make sure that I'm listening to their ideas too. I'm learning something every single day. Every single day I learn something. And if I'm not learning something almost every single day, maybe I'm learning something weekly, because sometimes I don't like to listen, right? Listen intently. If I'm not showing up in the way that I need to. I'm being curious, right? Consistently. Go ahead and go to the next slide. How to absorb. Sign-up sheets or QR codes. QR codes might seem a little scary to some people. You can literally Google how to make a QR code. That QR code can go to a Google form.
For the next one of these that we do, for the next big mass event that we infiltrate, we need to make sure we have some sort of like landing page and like QR code stickers that we can sticker around places just to be subversive. We're going to do this first No Kings protest as like, it's going to be a practice run. We're getting people involved. We're learning how to do this. We're learning how to create a mass army of volunteers to go to these events. But there's going to be more opportunities for this. Maybe it's the May Day protest. Maybe it's something over the summer. There's already scheduled to be another No Kings protest in the fall, so there will be another one this year. The next one we do, we're going to try to be subversive. I already have a landing page that we can send to people and stuff like that. I want to create a library of like things that people can print out on their own, like stickers and things with QR codes that like you can print on your home printer, or you can buy them. I'll put them in the store too, but you can also just print them out. I'll make them free for everyone. And you can do whichever one you want to do. And for the next one, I want to start getting a little subversive and like going and doing stickering all over the country at these things at the same time as we're collecting information. But we're not going to be subversive in the first one. We're just going to go and get used to doing it and figure that out.
Or a Proton form, or your website where they can do sign up, or your newsletter, any of those things, or sign up to be a volunteer.
Gonna make a whole fucking
QR
roadmap
code
and a
is
plan.
super helpful specifically for young people, because all you gotta do is take
Now
your
we're
phone
cooking.
and click it and then sign up. One other thing is having sign-up sheets. How someone brought that up earlier in a question, and I'm going to get to all the questions at the end now, because we are running out of time. Someone brought that up in a question of like, well, how do I get people? It's a lot of work. You can have a few volunteers walk around with clipboards and sign people up, right? And it's so easy, right, Leah? And you can also have people with the QR codes on it at a table. So right when they walk in, you're like, hey, like, we're looking for more people to volunteer with us, or you can put a little sign. We all love making signs. Put a little sign like, we want more volunteers. Come sign up here. Come join us, right? You can have someone from the stage say that, right? And be like, hey, go over to this table, or hey, utilize this QR code. Don't just do protest and rallies.
Real.
Do the No Kings. Every single time we ask you to do the No Kings, because you are our base and our core, and we cannot function without you. You have the most power.
It's actually really
right?
helpful information, honestly.
You also need to do community events. One thing I do every single year, and it builds community, is a backpack drive. And definitely now with everything that's happening, and the Department of Education cutting funds, and also with ICE, and undocumented, and also like just our immigrant neighbors are afraid to go to work. They're going to need the kids are going to need backpacks to go to school, right? You can do a community events like that. Like, and then donate it to the school, or like for us, we sign people up and they come meet us at a library, or we go into like more marginalized communities and hand them out. Or it could just be a community event like we're going to be asking you guys to do after No Kings, where you just sit down like, okay, what's next? What are we doing next? How are we doing it? And how are we going to be efficient? Or it could be a music event, right? You can fundraise for something. Maybe
it's not out of the realm of possibility that you'll find a mutual aid tent. There might be. I don't know that there's going to be a lot of those. Probably mostly in like the lefty cities or the lefty locations you'll find those. But there is not an out of the realm possibility that you'll find a mutual aid tent, or you will, come across a table that they're handing out stuff for free. They might be like they do sometimes hand out bags, like tote bags or little bags that you can wear as kind of like a backpack. It's not an expensive thing, but it's like a cheap thing. You might actually find those at the No Kings protest. No joke.
Fundraising for Young La Migra Watch, right?
I don't know
and those
about
are also
setting up
really
a
fun
table.
events
I
to
don't
plan.
know if that's
so
gonna
it's
work.
not, you don't have to just
Good
rally.
idea. I like
in
the
between
motivation.
times, you can do community events, run social media campaigns, literally post on social media. We're looking for more volunteers. Sign up here. Involve them and engage them. That goes to the activate, engage, activate, retain, or engage, activate, cultivate, and retain. Involve them, engage them, bring them into the fold, bring them close to you. Like, as a leader, you should not be standoffish. I know that people still find me intimidating, but like people inside of the 5051 movement, they know that they can call me or text me at any time of the hour. Am I going to respond? Not all the time, not immediately, but I will. I'll get back to them. Send out newsletters. This is so important. People forget to do this. And it's not just send out newsletters of like, hey, these are the actions we're going to be doing. Hey, on that little, like in a little block, hey, we need more volunteers. We're looking for more members. Come to here or sign up here to become a new member. Set up Zoom meetings or in-person member meetings. That speaks for itself. Ask them about themselves. Genuinely care. You would be so surprised. You're eventually going to ask someone, how are they? And they'll be like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm fine. And then one day they're going to be like, you know what? I'm not doing that great. And you're going to be like, oh, okay, why? And you start to build a relationship. You can't build fake relationships. You have to build deep and caring relationships in your community. Definitely when you're in the trenches together. Definitely when it feels like the entire world is melting in front of you. You need to genuinely care about one another. And that goes back to what? Practicing unconditional love for you and your community. And ask them like what they like to do. Oh, you like to play music? Great. Play music at the next protest. Oh, you like to write? Awesome. We need someone doing press. Oh, like you've been trained, you meditate, believe it or not. Best safety and de-escalation people are people that meditate, believe it or not, because they can keep calm, right?
That
and
actually makes sense, honestly.
When you're doing all that, that makes them feel like, okay, wow, this person like cares about me. Like, I want to be a part of this. I want to be in community. I want like a organizing family. This is what you should be creating, right? Even in like, even when you have as a nonprofit, as a job, you should be creating like almost a family atmosphere, because you're taking on a lot of trauma, because you're constantly having to watch the news. You're constantly like, sometimes when you turn something on TV that you might be getting email from 5051 or Indivisible or someone to respond, right? To go do something. You're taking on a lot of trauma. So like asking someone about their day and what they care about and what they're good at makes them learn people's names and use them. Yes. And that I still have to work on that legitimately. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Ecosystem, check. We talked about ecosystem disruption, but I did not talk to you about ecosystem checking. It's okay. Thank you, guys. Coalition building. The process of bringing together different groups, organizations, or individuals with shared interests, goals, or values to work collaboratively toward achieving a common objective. The idea is to combine resources, strength, and expertise to create a collective force than what each party could accomplish on their own. When you ecosystem track, you look around, you're like, okay, there's a repro group here. There's a Black Lives Matter here. Wow, we actually have a climate change group here. This group does mutual aid. We are doing protests and rallies and community events, right? And we're fighting against authoritarianism. But that doesn't mean you can't go fight for repro rights. That does not mean that. You can go do that. You can go sit with them and fight with them, right? And not bring in what you're doing, but being like, hey, how can I help you? Right? And a lot of times we like to be like, oh, I want to uplift Black and brown voices. But you do that by being like, oh, I need a Black and brown speaker versus, hey, actually, do you want to come in? We just got announced No Kings is happening. Do you want to come in and organize with us? Like, do you want to sit at the table? Right? That's real coalition building. And I like to say that sometimes you're going down a path, right? And you go down this path together and then you split off. And then you come back together and then you split off. That's how coalition works. You're not always going to align with them. What they're doing may not be what you need to do or want to do right now, but there are times that you can provide support for each other. And what is that called? Community building and capacity building. Go to the next slide, please. And these are questions to ask yourself. And we're not gonna, because we only have 15 minutes, I wanna get to questions. So are you
the hell?
Corey said we're gonna get to those right now. Hold on. Are you missing any people targeted by aforementioned domestic issues? If so, why do you think that is? When you think about, you look around the table and your diversity, like, okay, why? Maybe it's the population. Maybe it's you haven't sat down and had a conversation with this group. Maybe they didn't respond to your email. One thing I'm gonna tell you is stop just emailing and Instagramming messaging people and then asking them things. Ask them for a cup of coffee. Actually, literally sit down and be like, hey, as an organization that is doing all this Black and brown work or repro work or LGBTQIA with Trans Visibility Day coming up, do you want to get a cup of coffee? Are you listening to people most impacted? Right? That's one thing we say, not just most marginalized, most impacted in this moment. Are they at your table? And if they're not at your table, do you know any organization that has those voices? So right now we're seeing attacks by ICE on a regular basis. They may, people that are immigrants or undocumented immigrants or first generation or has a family member that's impacted by this may not be at your table. If that's not, and that's okay. The next thing is do you know any organizations that have those voices? And as a organization, are you safe to work with for those voices? Like, are you actually going to center them? That doesn't mean always listening. Like, oh, that means listening, but that's not always making a decision based on that. But
hang on. What if a leftist asks you out on a date? Bro, never stick your dick in crazy. What are you doing?
Actually hearing what they're saying, listening intently, right? All of it's a puzzle piece. Are you a seasoned organizer? And that's usually, I do this training for a litany of people. And so for me, it's like, yes, I'm a seasoned organizer. Am I actually giving space to the newer activists? Actually, at the beginning of 5051, I would be like, no, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. And I had to take a step back and I called my mentor and she goes, I'm like complaining, not even about with you, the one, just generally complaining about new organizers everywhere. And my mentor goes, Sarah, what are you learning about your leadership? And I'm like, what? I'm complaining to you. I'm venting. Don't turn the mirror back on me. And it took me about 2 or 3 months and I was like, oh. And funny things, I've already been doing this training, but I was like, I'm not empowering them. I'm not allowing people to make mistakes. I'm just telling them how wrong they are. I have to give space, and you have to give space for people to fail, right? Are you a new organizer? Okay, yes, there's tons of new organizers in this chat. Are you reaching out to existing organizers? And are you taking feedback? I think one of the biggest things being a new organizer, it's like there's two folds of this. It's one, it's like some people do feel that like, well, these older organizers got us here, and that's not the case. That's not true. And then other times people feel like just because you were here first doesn't mean I have to listen to you. And that's kind of true too, right? You got to find a balance. You're not the smartest person in the room. No one is. No one is the smartest person in the room. I am not the smartest person in the room. I am sure there's one day that I might run into one of you guys and I might need advice, and that's okay. And are you taking feedback? They've been doing this for a lot longer. Maybe there's some feedback they need to give you. Maybe some of it's justified and maybe some of it's not. So these are just questions to ask yourself. You're going to get all of this on video. And like, these are things that like you can ask yourself consistently over time as you build up your chapter. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please.
It's so beautiful, baby, when you find it, you better cherish it.
You know what I was really hoping for at the end of this? You know what I was really just topping this off right before we're about to go to movie night? Black music. That's really what I was hoping for, was a good Black music intermission to just bring the whole thing together.
My name is Kuvu. I'm the Chief Diversity Officer of the Human Rights Campaign. It's critically important that we look across the landscape and look for opportunities to build partnerships with other communities and
we're again. Okay. Again. Why not?
My name is Kuvu.
Oh, we had to
I'm the
listen
Chief
to the whole
Diversity
thing
Officer
again.
of the Human Rights Campaign.
It's just going on a
critically
loop.
important that we look across the landscape and look for opportunities to build partnerships with other communities and other organizations who have a shared issue agenda. And really that's about equality, freedom, and justice, and find those common issues and concerns that allow us to come together to work toward our joint mission. The idea and philosophy of coalitions and strategic partnerships is just in my blood. It's cultural, and I've had many experiences growing up where it's just ingrained in who I am.
Guys, working with people is cultural, okay? It is an Asian trait, not an American trait.
As an immigrant and an Asian American, the popular slogan, "You think, therefore you are," or "I think, therefore I am." Culturally, for me, it was, "I am because we are." And I exist because I'm part of something. I'm part of something much greater than myself. Whereas I think in Western philosophy and practice, the individual is prized over the group. When I first started at the Service Employees International Union, which is one of the fastest growing unions in the country, they just inherently get diverse.
Union, you say? The SEIU, the same SEIU union that's literally at every major leftist protest. There will probably be many of you that go to the No Kings protest that run into the SEIU, Service Workers International Union. There'll probably be other protests or unions there as well. Make sure to keep a special eye out for like teachers unions, higher education unions. If you see the UAW, that might actually be college professors. There's specific like college professor unions that'll probably be there. You're going to see a lot of different unions, and make sure you keep an eye out for them, because we want to make sure we are tracking what unions are involved in leftist protesting and organizing, because it's my contention that there really need to be congressional hearings into this. I'm deadly serious about this. There need to be congressional hearings into the political organizing activities of the unions, because all far left activism ever leads back to the unions. The unions are the focal point of far left organizing. They are using the unions to push this into workplaces. They are going into workplaces with the specific intent of creating unions to do more far left organizing. The unions are everything. These are not politically neutral entities that are trying to help the employees or make life better. They are specifically functioning to support and advance leftist organizing.
Because in the service sector, it's majority women and people of color. And so I was working on an immigration campaign, and one of the organizing principles that SEIU had was this notion called community strength. And community strength was about the reality that even though unions represent workers and bargain for good contracts that provide good wages and benefits and working conditions for working America, unions also recognize that workers are more than just what they do in the workplace. When they leave the workplace, they're fathers and mothers, they go to church, they belong to civic organizations.
Union members are more than what they do in the workplace, because unions are not about improving workplaces. They are about being the focal point of far left organizing.
Organizations and have a host of other attributes and qualities about them that make them a human being. And so the idea of community strength was to embrace all of those things outside of the workplace, because it's really not just about improving people's workplace conditions, it's about improving their lives, and their lives exist in a broader community. So immigration was one of those issues that touched a large segment of the membership. And as a union, though, everybody believes that you've got your vested interest, that you're only really there to sign up workers to join the union. So what we did, and I did when I was in the position at the time, was to say, we're SEIU, don't talk about the union at all, just show up every day sitting at the coalition table, working with groups alongside them, with them, year in and year out, 12 months out of the year, on winning immigration rights. And that was it. We never talked about union organizing. We didn't talk about the situation of workers. We were there because we were invested in the health and outcome of immigrants in the community, which happen to be the very workers that would be part of the industries that we wanted to organize. But that's not why we were there. We were there because we believed in a future where all workers had rights, including immigrant workers. On HBCU campuses, I think one of the themes that affects all of us is the reality that we can't win alone, and that's definitely true for students on HBCU campuses, where the number of LGBT students and maybe even faculty or administrators, if they exist, are not big enough. And you need to bring straight allies and other folks who will be your champions and push, all the administrators and folks who have the position and the power to change the policy and the climate of the campus to be able to speak out for you, because those are the folks who can make the difference and position you from a minority to now a group that really has representation and power. One of the most powerful things that I've heard someone say,
we're going to go ahead and go just for time. You'll get that video. I need to cut it short, but
This
we
is
only have
almost
9
done, by the way.
minutes. And I want to say in the chat, intergenerational work is important. Intercultural work is important. I responded about being in a red state, and I did not see the rest of that comment. But it goes back to, because I see some comments, but we just left 2 slides ago, that if someone's been organizing for a long time, are you taking feedback and are you listening? There's a balance to be had, right? And we need to find that balance. And everyone's important in this moment. And people thinking from different, I like to say the playbook's already been written for you, and it legitimately has. We just forgotten our playbook. And actually, our playbook has kind of been stolen from us and utilized against us. The grassroots level, the opposition uses, all of those things. We just have to get it back. I really want to say thank you for all of you guys that stuck it through. And I definitely encourage the next time we're able to do this to come back and bring someone. And there are a few questions I'm going to answer. I'm not going to be able to give super in-depth answers. How do we approach a rally and encourage participation without turning them off? So my thing is that you only, in my head, you can do something with 10 or 15 good people. You can do something with 3 or 5 good people. If you get 1 or 2 people out of your rally, you did something good. If you have thousands of people and you get 15 people, you did something good. It is so hard to onboard 100 people. That's just not in a quick way.
It is hard. Yes, it is hard. I had that problem too.
It's not scalable immediately, right? It is okay to get 1, 2, 5, or 10 new organizers. It's okay to invite all these people to a community meeting and not necessarily.
I feel so bad sometimes because so many people have reached out to me wanting to be involved with the Center for Left-Wing Studies. And I was so fucking overwhelmed with the amount of interest. I feel like I stalled on everyone. And I did, Tuesday. I did. I did not feel like I did stall on everyone. It wasn't that we weren't doing work with it. We were always doing work with it. But it's just there were so many people. And I was just like, oh shit. And it was overwhelming. And it's now we're going to be able to get a better handle on it, I think. Yeah, well, you do your own thing all the time, right? But it was just so many people. And I appreciate everyone who wants to be involved. And I appreciate everyone who wants to do stuff. But it's just it is actually really difficult to manage that. And I was unprepared, but I am more prepared now than I was then. Okay.
Necessarily have a space for them immediately inside of your lead organizing group. All of those are okay. Be patient with yourself, give yourself grace, give your team grace, recognize that this slideshow is 10 plus years of knowledge, right? And if one of you get off of this and does it perfectly, then more power to you. You are the deity of organizing. I don't expect that from you. I do not. And you should not expect that from yourself.
Yeah, it's a process.
You're setting the bar way too high. And I tell my kids, we do affirmations every day. You do not have to be perfect. You just have to try your best. So I encourage you to think of 3 things that you learned in this and then put those into action. And then come back the next time and do 3 more things that you learned from it. You can't do this all at once. It would cause an ecosystem disruption inside of your own organization and chapter.
That's
If
really
you
good
just go to your
presentation, I
Signal
agree.
chat right now and be like, we're going to change all of this. No. First off, start changing within yourself and start taking feedback, start listening intently. Maybe there's some broken relationships that you probably noticed when, you know, I was going through this thing of like, man, you know what, that person was a visionary and maybe I wasn't super nice to them. And going back and talking to them, maybe it's like, okay, I need to do a temp check with inside of my organization. Like maybe I have acted in a little bit of ego, power, credit, and it's okay to recognize that. I've been there, I've done that. It's normal, right? Yes, the steps to success. I think it's important, and I think it's not going to happen overnight. None of us are perfect, and that's okay. I'm trying to see if there's any super Leah. There is no movement dictionary. Girl, I wish, because I would have been picked it up.
The
There are
dictionary is another
tons of
thing I
really
gotta do.
good movement books, though. I'm pretty sure.
All right. I feel like this is pretty much done. They're just chit-chatting at this point. She's just being like aspirational. I will say this. I think this was a very good training. It may have been a little bit dull. It wasn't what I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be much more about like the No Kings protest specifically, but it was an excellent training. And honestly, it's like, I know all that stuff. Like I said, I used to do those types of trainings, but it's always helpful to have a reminder. And it's always like nice. And it's also, I mean, it does give us insight. This is a training that was delivered to No Kings organizers nationally. This is how they are formulating things. This is how they are operating. And it was really good info. And it shows you why they've been so effective, because they are really professionalizing all of this. All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up for today. Now, as a reminder, if you are a YouTube channel member, if you just got that channel membership today, if you're a supporter on my Substack or anywhere else, you can join us for movie night in the supporter Discord in about 10 minutes. If you are a YouTube channel member, I have posted the link to the supporter Discord in the post tab. Just go to the channel homepage, click on post. If you are a channel member, and welcome to the 130 people that we had joining the channel today. Really appreciate everyone, guys, being members and dishing out those channel memberships. That's rad. But if you're brand new, go to the post tab. That will get you into the supporter Discord. We are doing movie night in 10 minutes. MacB is watching the interview in the supporter Discord in the VC. If you get verified now, I will get you in for movie night so you can all go and enjoy that. It is the interview starring Seth Rogen and James Franco, and we appreciate MacB hosting movie nights. If you are on the Substack, just go to the chat section and you will be able to find it there. If you are a supporter on the Substack, if you're a supporter anywhere else, let me know and I will hook you up there as well. But those are my main places of support. So that is where I put the link. I do appreciate everyone that came out to watch today. Now, tomorrow we are going to be doing a rare public spy stream. I've decided we're going to do it because it's a live stream that starts at 5:30, so it just coincides with the show. So tomorrow for the show, we're going to be doing a rare public spy stream, but we are going into a private supporter exclusive spy stream later in the night. So there is a leftist meeting tomorrow that I want to watch that is going to be directly related to what we're doing, spoiler alert. And that meeting is going to be tomorrow at 7:45-ish. And so we will be starting a supporter exclusive spy stream after we do the public live stream. So that's going to be for tomorrow. On Wednesday, I have just confirmed a second spy stream for Wednesday. So there are now going to be 2 spy streams on Wednesday, and both will be supporter exclusive. And there may be more this week because it's a big week for leftist organizing. So if you are a YouTube channel member, a supporter on my Substack, Twitter, Locals, Patreon, you get invited to spy streams. I really appreciate you guys supporting my work. In spy stream will bring you inside live leftist trainings. If you have not yet watched the training I did last night about infiltrating the No Kings protest, you can find that on the Substack. You can find it on the YouTube channel, Rumble, Twitter, wherever you want to watch it is fine, but you can find it in all the places. And if you want to get involved, you have to watch the training to follow the instructions that I give you to get involved. I am not giving you the instructions unless you watch the training, okay? So you have to sit down and actually listen to the advice I'm giving you, because I have a very specific idea for what I want to do with this project, and I need to make sure you're on board with that. And the best way to make sure you're on board is if you just watch the flipping training, or if socialists are trying to like infiltrate or whatever and pretend to be volunteers, they're going to be forced to actually watch the training and actually maybe listen to what I have to say for once. And so that's why we're doing it that way. So if you want to join us, the information and the instructions for joining us for the No Kings Infiltration this weekend are: you need to sit down, watch the damn training. You will learn how to join us in the training. And again, you can find it on my Substack. That is Karlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. You can find it on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter. I linked it on decodetheleft.com. I linked it on leftwingstudies.com. It's on all the websites. There are any number of myriad ways you can watch this training, but you do have to sit your ass down and watch it and then follow the instructions. And them's the rules, okay? So guys, we are going to retire for the night to the supporter Discord to go watch movie night. I want to thank everyone again who came out to the stream today. I want to thank everyone for supporting the channel, especially everyone who gave channel memberships and super chats. You guys allow me to do what I do. I'm 100% funded by people like you. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. We'll see you soon.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer. I'm not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that? not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.